Woohoo!
Yeah,
Hey, what a week it's been, huh?
Avengers theme.
That's good.
Hey,
What
we're
a
gonna
week, huh?
try. Well, say She-Hulk, right? Blue. We're assembled here to talk
Woohoo!
about
She-Hulk week!
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk week! She-Hulk
She
week!
looks so bad.
No, she looks good. No, trust me. She looks good. Believe me.
My favorite thing Dylan said to us. He said Marvel can't keep getting away with this. That's my favorite thing that I read about.
Fair enough.
He just Marvel can't keep getting away with this. I could just see the way he said it. Just hey, our upload schedule is kind of wacky.
I know.
It's an off. That's an off-stream conversation, but I just want to put out there that you missed the pod, and I wish you were there, and I wish we uploaded it on time. I just want to list my. This is a public grievance session. I don't see Johnny enough.
There's a lot of grievances.
Men and brevs
there.
Hello.
So
yeah. So
there's
probably
like
not
I think there might be like a couple things to talk about. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like there was something this week that I saw.
I think it's right behind you, actually. Look at those. Look at those guys.
Oh.
They are. Looking like they're on an album cover.
Huh? Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It goes hard. That is like
hard.
A perfect like.
I bought
this
the
pick goes hard.
So I ordered it in the mail because I'm like, I want that.
I actually should too. I got a new hat. If you didn't notice.
Yeah, Johnny actually worked on episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, I hope in like some years, sometime, people are like, episode 3 of what? They'll be like,
no. They'll be like, what are you cosplaying as? They'll be like, oh, I'm cosplaying as a Lucasfilm employee.
Yeah. But I just like, I like the idea that you were like, episode 3 of My Little Pony.
Like episode 3 is something. Episode 3 is something.
It just says episode 3, so it's like, I don't know, the third episode.
I feel like I look official though with this hat. I don't know.
I feel like it does.
I'm very excited. Celebration is next week.
It is. That's insane. 1 week from now.
Which is insane to me. I can't believe this will be my first. Obviously, Levi's second.
I don't know who you are, Brevs. Guess who you are? I don't know. I don't have to answer that question.
What's the profile pic? What's the PFP looking like?
The PFP. Oh, speaking of PFPs, we gotta get the music on.
Oh, okay. That's speaking of.
You know, I don't know.
I don't know either. So I cannot believe that.
Okay, we gotta actually start talking about that.
I know. Dylan will come in later. Dylan's coming in later.
Yeah, I want to unite the all new nerds.
Welcome everybody to the stream. Yeah, we will.
People watch these VODs, and we've been talking about nothing. Hopefully you're watching this on 2x speed, so you can blow past
all of this.
Us briefly talking about She-Hulk, which I do want to mention.
The worst part.
Show looks fine. She looks bad. I'm excited tentatively.
I don't agree. I think she looks okay.
Daredevil will be in it, and everyone knows that.
I think she looks okay, and Daredevil's in it, so I'm good. We're happy. Moving on. So yeah, I mean, we're going to Celebration next week, which is insane. My first Celebration.
1 week from now, I will see you.
It's true.
At this time.
It's true. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah.
Wednesday.
It's true.
Yeah. It's true.
Be in a hotel.
Exciting.
Crazy.
No, on the street.
We should tell everybody our hotel building and then the room number.
And give them exactly.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Man, I don't know what's going on in the chat.
I don't know either.
I would turn off the chat because I'm so excited to talk, but I don't even know where to start. So
I know there's a lot. I feel like we should go article by article.
Okay, so what happened was, Anthony Breznican, formerly Vanity Fair, came out of quote unquote retirement he's been assembling this Star Wars article, which is just this massive, as Johnny put in the title, a dump of content.
It's a news dump.
It's a dump.
This pick goes hard. Feel free to screenshot.
And they had Annie Leibovitz there, who's been taking photos of Star Wars since 1999.
Yeah.
Right. And it looks like that. Like it
looks like that, and it's beautiful.
The Rebellion will be televised. A great play on Revolution will be televised. Rebellion, obviously. Star Wars. So the
no
future
way.
Star
That's
Wars
what it was.
television.
Wait. That's what it was. No way.
Well.
That's what it was a play on.
No. I was saying is the implication in this article is heavily, if you haven't read it, that the future of Star Wars will be in television. Something that I am not. I don't know. This article is honestly, it's bittersweet for me. There's a lot of things in here that I really like, and a lot that I don't.
I am okay with it.
I'm not okay with it. So I mean, my biggest takeaway, not my biggest takeaway, but one of the biggest takeaways from this article is the way the internet just blew up in reaction to her comments about Solo. Alden was literally trending number 2 on Twitter all day. Alden was. So Han Solo was. Which is not Han
Solo.
No, yeah, you're one of those freaks. Not for the right reasons.
Right.
And a lot of people were, I got a shout out to, the Chacos of the Star Wars community. People wanted to keep a level head, didn't want to give Kathleen Kennedy any undue
Just one Chaco,
hate. And we're saying, well, okay, my God. And we're saying maybe the quote, the main article's editorialized, maybe the quote's out of context. But then there's a full interview now with Kathy where you see the full context. And honestly, I think it's worse. It's like she's blaming Solo's failure on Alden. And it's like, bro, what? Like, what the hell? I want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it.
We can talk about it. I think you should say that for Dylan, though, because you and Dylan shared a common enjoyment of Solo, where I am more mid on it.
Maybe we'll loop back around, but I want to share. So he asks, I don't want to put you in an awkward spot, but was this an understanding that you've come to develop? Understanding meaning that they can't recast from Solo. I don't want to trash Alden. I think he did a good job, but the idea that you can't really replace Luke Skywalker was something that you learned from that movie, or how would you put it? And she says, maybe as you say it, Anthony, maybe. I think back, and Solo was one of the first ideas that came up when the company was sold. One of the first people I went to was Larry Kasdan. Larry and I have known each other forever. He was so excited to tell that story. We genuinely believed at the time it was a good idea, which makes it seem like now she thinks it was a bad idea, which I don't like that.
That seems like that, yes.
And then she says, so yeah, there should be moments along the way when you learn things. That may have certainly been a learning moment. Some people have talked about, well, maybe Solo should have been a TV show. But even doing a Solo as a TV show without Harrison Ford as Han, it isn't the same thinking. Maybe I should have recognized this before. We would never make an Indiana Jones film without Harrison. Having just finished the 5th movie, I can tell you there wasn't a day I wasn't on set and I wasn't like, yes, this is Indiana Jones. Maybe I'm closer to the DNA of Indy and always have been. And than I was when I came into Star Wars, because now it does seem so. Yeah, because now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that. You get excited by these things. You want to revisit the things you want. You want to have that feeling again, and you're trying to resurrect that. I think that's what we do even with our new characters. With Star Wars, everyone talks about a feeling they have about it. That's an intangible idea that you're looking for, which I'm like, damn, she's just like, oh, well, I was wrong. I mean, I couldn't have done it ever. I think it's bad, man. I don't like that. I don't like that attitude about Solo.
Not a good attitude to have for your company, yes, but a big drawback for Solo for me is it just not being the same characters, which I get. You can whip out the Ewan Alec Guinness card, but I think that's
the Donald Glover Lando, that they're literally making a show called Lando with.
That's what's confusing. After that, that was something that was the most jarring for me, because I was like, well, you're still doing the Lando show and Donald Glover's in it, so what is the? It doesn't make any sense.
So maybe this could just be Hollywood doublespeak, where she's just trying to play it safe and not really talk about anything, and that Alden could come back in that show, because he's only 32 years old.
How can he not?
Harrison Ford was 35 when he filmed the first Star Wars. If they wanted to use Alden as Han, they can for a long time, and I want them to, because it seems like,
well, it wasn't that long ago, relatively. Yeah.
And maybe you're watching this back and you're like, why did they start, of all the positive stuff, why'd you start with this? And I'm starting with this partially because I really care about it, but the other part is this is the number one thing that the internet was blowing up about. I mean, the amount of social media, just like,
I don't know about that, but
dude, were you on Twitter yesterday? It was crazy. It was literally the number one. It was literally the number one thing trending. Like Alden was. The amount of tweets, like with tens of thousands of likes about Solo and all. Like I had never seen anything like it before, even on Make Solo 2 Happen Day. Like it was insane, the amount of just negative pushback that quote got. Like seriously, like it was blowing my mind. People were just really falling out of the woodwork to defend Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. Which I'm positive for. So I hope they get that message.
Yeah.
So that was my one big negative, really.
Fair enough.
Did you have any negative takeaways before we just jump into the good stuff?
Well, like I said, I haven't read all the articles. So, from what I've seen, no. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, the other negative, quote unquote, people might think that I think is a negative is the Ryan thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I think on the contrary, the fact, and when you read the full interview, she goes into it more. The fact that they're still talking about it and trying to make it work 5 years after the fact, Lucasfilm is no stranger to canceling stuff. If they wanted this project canceled, if they wanted this project canceled, it would have been canceled. So to me, and let me read you the full quote. Especially like she talks about how Ryan is still in meetings and stuff. Like I think eventually he's going to do something because it doesn't make any sense to me that they wouldn't just outright cancel it.
And from my recollection, did they bring up the trilogy by name or did they just say a project? Oh, they did say the trilogy.
No, they talk about it. So he did. So the question he asks is, one of the enduring questions that fans have is about Rian Johnson and his future with Star Wars. Is there anything you can tell me about that? I know it's been said that his trilogy is still on, but it's been so many years since it was announced. It's been 5 years now. Is that still the case? Can we resolve what's going on with his idea? And she says, Ryan has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal that he made at Netflix for multiple movies. I've had meetings with Ryan. He's somebody that comes in as part of our little brain trust discussions along the way. So like story group, like he's still coming in to talk about Star Wars. He remains very committed to what it is we're trying to do. He literally just hasn't had the time to devote. That's what I'm saying. Anyone who comes into a Star Wars universe needs to know that it's 3, 4, 5 year commitment. That's what it takes. You can't step in for a year and shoot something and walk away. It just doesn't work that way. So it still requires some kind of nurturing, and we're trying to make that work. So that goes to the broader point about the movie side of this is Kathy talks a lot about how, for one, Taika's movie is next. Rogue Squadron is pushed to second. Taika's is soon. And that they're trying to get someone. They're working with a couple people. She didn't say who. Where they're trying to lock down just to own them. Like Marvel has owned John Watts, say, on Spider-Man movies. Like they've put that man in the room and we're like, make Spider-Man.
Now he's moved over.
He's moved over. But I'm saying like they got him in and they said stay. And they got him for, 5 years. That's what she wants with a Star Wars filmmaker. And I think she wants what it sounds like is she wants that to be Ryan. She wants to pull Ryan away from Netflix, away from Knives Out, and be like,
yeah, because he has the whole, I forgot, because he has,
lock him in a box.
Did they have like a multiple picture deal with Netflix with that? I'm trying to think. I know at least a sequel, but was there more after that? I thought there was. I don't know. Anyways, it's interesting though.
But the fact that Ryan is still in meetings about Star Wars, like now, that to me is like if anything, that seems like they want it to happen so bad. And if they would cancel it, they would just cancel it.
Correct.
Well, now I really think it's you, Anchorman.
And I think
I figured before, but
I think Ryan would be accepted. I think Ryan would be accepted like a little bit more now than back in 2017 or whatever.
I don't know. I think it was. I don't think they expected Knives Out to be as big as it was, and that took his attention away. Because that movie made a bunch of money and it was super successful and everyone was. This is a great movie. But yeah, I just think that's remarkable that he is still in like story group.
Still in meetings, yeah.
About the brain, like that's the brain trust. Like the brain trust is the people. It's referenced in art books a lot. That's in 2014 when they had Dave Filoni, Pablo Hidalgo, J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, the writers. Putting together, like that's when they decided, okay, Rey's going to be a Skywalker in the end, Ben's going to be redeemed, that sort of thing. Like they made those decisions in 2014. People like to contradict that, and it's true. There's truth to the fact that the plans changed, but the fact there were facts for the sequel trilogy that they were like, oh, we're going to make this happen. But that's the brain trust. They did the same thing with Mandalorian, the Mandoverse. With in this case, it was Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. And so the fact that Ryan isn't on those meetings still,
that is pretty interesting.
That's interesting to me.
After everything too.
I know, that's interesting to me. That shows some serious commitment. Because I can't, and you said it yourself, they are no strangers to just throwing people out the door. Like, oh, you're not going to work with us? Goodbye.
Why am I blank?
Benioff and Weiss,
Lord Miller, right?
Lord Miller, see ya.
Lord
Miller. Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Bye. Gareth Edwards, we're never going to talk about you again. Tony Gilroy, you'll come do the Andor show. It's like Lucasfilm has a long history.
Gareth Edwards hurts.
I don't know. I mean, let's start to talk about the positives here, which is one of the craziest takeaways for me is not only did they drop a lot about the plot of Andor and how it's going to be over 3 seasons and like literally laying out the whole plot of the show within this article. But the fact that Mon Mothma looks so damn good, like she's literally like the most interesting part about this. Like she is going to be
Levi. I know she looks good.
Okay, you know what I mean. She is literally going to be, and they say half of the show, like half of the plot is going to be centered around Mon Mothma and the Alliance. Like, just
which was
up.
interesting because we figured we've had many conversations about Andor, like what the hell it could even be about. I mean, if Andor is pulling like 3 seasons and 12 episodes per season, he will have the most screen time of any Star Wars character. But so we're wondering, like, can Andor carry an entire 12 episode, 3 season show? And I guess now we have the answer. It seems to be more of a split, which I think is intriguing.
Yeah, the fact that they, in this shoot, the big shoot where they have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Mothma, by the way,
and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, that they just have Mon Mothma. That the fact that an obscure character like that makes the big shoot screams to me that she's going to be one of the main characters. You don't have you don't put a side character on a Vanity Fair show. Like, doesn't make any sense. Right. So that was really like stunning and almost impressive to me that they're willing to go that route with, like, okay, we're going to take this obscure character and we're going to make it. We're finally going to do that thread.
I mean, I think she definitely had a presence in Rogue One. I get what you're saying, though.
That she has like a minute of screen time. She's now going to have like a TV show. That's a big jump.
For me, it makes sense because like she is a big part of the rebellion. So, but it's interesting that yes, I guess it's shocking that she will have more of a role that we thought.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally on the Vanity Fair shoot.
Yeah, I mean, if she's
you don't see that. You don't see that. Yeah,
they are representing the two on the left are representing the show. So just have them there. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm having trouble accessing the article because Vanity Fair is being goofy.
The
full quote about Andor.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's here. I mean, maybe this is the best I can do. Tony Gilroy. Yeah, so Tony Gilroy, who, if you don't know, Gareth Edwards shot Rogue One, and then they brought in Tony Gilroy to sort of change it, make it work more, because I don't think they really liked what they had. And he sort of made that movie what it is. And now, I mean, clearly he's the one who gets the show about Andor. He gets the Rogue One show. So clearly for Lucasfilm, he gets it. He's the Rogue One guy, even not the guy who officially has the director credit.
And Bail Organa too.
I know, and Bail's going to be in.
He seems to be pretty significant.
And Bail's going to be.
I mean, he's always with Mon Mothma. I feel at least around that time. So.
Yeah. So here's what he said. So in reference to the fact that the character's story is already told, like we already have an end for it. So Tony Gilroy is saying, it's the journey of a migrant. The feeling of having to move is behind the story, very profoundly and very strong. That shapes you as a person. It defines you in many ways and what you're able to do. This guy gave his life for the galaxy, right? I mean, he consciously, soberly, without vanity or recognition, sacrificed himself. Who does that? That's what this first season is about. It's about him really revolution averse and cynical and lost and kind of a mess. His adopted home will become the base of our whole first season, and we'll watch that place become radicalized. Then we see another planet that's completely taken apart in a colonial way. The Empire is expanding rapidly. They're wiping out anybody who's in their way. Yeah, at the end, Gilroy said to me, "You want to take this risk with me, man?" And it's like, anyway, they're talking about that. I'm trying to find a quote about. He talks about the seasons.
I'm looking too.
Yeah, essentially, this isn't my words, but it's this is editorialized from Star Wars Newsnet. But the story of Andor commences with the destruction of Cassian's birth world, Fest, as he transitions into adulthood, and he realizes he won't be able to run forever, and he starts to see an adopted home in the rebellion. The show will also include the return of Rogue One's Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma, who seems to be serving as the show's co-lead, which will follow her, like, I guess through the Imperial Senate, which is probably what we heard the rumors as why Massa Amito was in the show. But Gilroy calls the series.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He says the series has huge. It's huge, orchestral, massive ensemble cast. So this is like, people talked about how the Mandalorian was going to be. Yeah, people talked about how the Mandalorian was going to be Game of Thrones in space. This sounds like it's Game of Thrones in space.
This, yeah. I mean, well, I'm trying to think back because even in that behind the scenes featurette that they had for Andor when they first started shooting, like they were like, this has the most practical, right?
suits.
Aliens,
Like, it's the
suits
aliens.
and
It has more
costumes
than
and
all the
of
sequel
any
trilogy
Star Wars
combined.
production. Yeah, and that. So something to be said there. And I think I don't know. I'm very excited. And again, I don't know if you saw my name today. I think it's gonna be goated. I'm very
Yeah, let's
excited
talk
for
about it.
it.
I mean, let's just jump into, we've been just reading the quotes so far. Let's just dive into what we think about Andor.
I guess this is well. I mean, because we've had conversations here and there about Andor and what we think it's gonna be about and whatnot. And
this is the first time we've had a solid layout of
solid
what the
of
show's going to be about.
Yeah. And I mean the progression of Andor as a character, losing his homeworld and whatnot. And we kind of expected that this would be early days Andor, obviously, like with him, just getting in tune with the rebellion, and becoming kind of the hardened veteran that we get into Rogue One. So,
well, he has to do bad stuff. That's the thing. He has to be a bad guy because he needs to think that killing himself will make everything he's done worth it.
Right.
So it's like it's gonna be pretty serious.
We're gonna see some stuff.
I mean, Saw Gerrera is gonna be in the show. Forrest Whitaker. We know that.
I'm tired of Saw Gerrera. He needs to go away. I'm just kidding.
No, I love Saw. So,
but he isn't. He isn't like everything though. But yeah,
he is. But we're gonna see the two sides of the rebellion. Like with Mon Mothma has this huge presence. Like this is shaping up to be potentially, I think, like some of the best Star Wars content out there. I mean, the way that he talks about it, it sounds amazing.
It might be goated. It probably will be. I'm very excited to see the Senate stuff too, and how they
the politics
of it. Imperial
Senate.
I think that's something that at least has been lacking in live action animated stuff, is seeing kind of what the what back home at like Coruscant looks like, and like kind of the whole Senate ordeal and the Imperial Senate, like how that looks now. And I think that
we're definitely gonna see Coruscant.
Mon Mothma, yeah, we're definitely gonna see that. Yeah, I feel like Mon Mothma is the kind of in with that. So it's I'm very interested. I'm very excited. I think it'll be good. I mean, if they are confident enough to have 3 seasons greenlit already, 12 episodes each, something's promising.
Yeah, people want to talk about like a plan for something. They're straight up like, okay, the season 1's plan is this. We're gonna get the character from here to here, and then we have it planned out through season 3. Like they know, like that's pretty impressive to me that they have this massive 36 episode epic. Like he calls it a Dickensian ensemble cast. Yeah. Dickensian. Yeah. Like that's, you're evoking. Who would have thought it'd
be? Who would have thought the title character would be Cassian Andor? Who would have thought, huh?
I know, right? It's crazy to me that
it's very crazy.
Andor of all people, Andor. And can you pull up the image? Do you have like the big long image where he's sort of off to the side?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that one. Like look, so yeah, that one. So like with the long coat and his hand under the gun.
I like the coat.
Like the way he's
looking.
looking.
Cat Bane-ish, but yeah.
I think it's all right.
No, I like it. I'm very intrigued. I think I will agree that Andor is a perfect character to be a way into seeing what the rebellion is like and how it operates. So I get the decision, but it's just still intriguing. Hey Dimes, what's up? So yeah, I just think it must be good. It must be good.
It has me. This is the show that we know the least about, even behind the scenes, and it is the show that I think I am the most excited for. I think I'm more excited for this.
Are you excited for because of the article, or like just because you don't know a lot?
The article now, seeing like any hint of what it's about, seeing the potential of what you could do with that scale of a story. Like this first season is double the length of Kenobi. Like think about that. Like Kenobi's 6, this is 12. Like this is there is just so much you can live in that world. You can take your time. Going into Coruscant and the politics of the rebellion. In season 4 of Rebels, that is my favorite stuff. When Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma are yelling at each other, about the ethics of how to fight this war against the Empire. And now with a live action show where you have Mon Mothma as a co-lead, you can just go and Saw Gerrera. You can take that like one episode of Rebels. It's like it's a 2-parter, but that you can take that idea and make an entire 36 episode long epic about this man about this man who has to end up killing himself for this thing. It's like, this is so good. I'm like, this is like, you're talking like Shakespearean epic of. I love that. Like, I'm just so in for that. Like,
this is gonna be the year of Coruscant.
Kenobi will always be a 6-episode. It'll be like episode 3.5. It'll take our main characters between episodes 3 and 4, or it can be a whole new thing. And Krennic's gonna be in it. Tarkin's gonna be in it. The Emperor's gonna be in it. Vader probably. Masamita, we know. Like
Vader at some point.
And those are just characters, not even like the plot. And so hearing anything about the plot is just mwah. See, Dimes, you read that all the wrong way. Rewind. We talked about it. I think it's the opposite of it.
We talked about it.
That's an A. Do you agree with me on that?
We probably favor Ryan a little bit more than him. So
true. No, I think he likes The Last Jedi, but it's according to his letterbox. I don't know. Letterbox doesn't. After knowing you, it doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Not mine.
But to quickly recap that, Dimes, I think the fact that Johnny, you would agree with me. I don't think I got a good response from you. That it's like the fact that they're still talking about it, still having meetings, makes it even more likely to me 5 years later.
The fact that he sits in the story group meetings is kind of mind blowing to me still after all this time. And I think he seems to be the only one from the early days of Disney Star Wars to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Oh, what up, Mug? Good to see you. Morbius is on digital.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw a basketball at your face, Anchorman, but it's okay. Okay. Quick Morbius interlude. No.
I don't want to do this. I don't.
30-second Morbius interlude. I totally forgot, but there's a point in that movie. It's Morbin time. Where Matt Smith is just dancing to a song that's just saying "have sex," and I don't. But I totally forgot about it. How is that real? What did they mean by that? How did they make that? Wildly entertaining. One of the best movies ever made. Easily. It's Morbin time. Morbius sweep.
Nope.
Okay, Andor.
So yeah, Andor, I think we can agree Andor is gonna be.
No, straight up, I am more excited for Andor than Kenobi right now. Like, I'm not even kidding. The potential for 36 episodes.
I know. I don't know if I agree with that. They're equal. They're all equal. All of the This is hype. This is perfect. This is This is great. We love all of this. This is peak Star Wars. Like,
look at Mon Mothma, dude. Like, it's insane.
Oh my god, we're back in Star Wars moment. This is an oh my god, we're back in Star Wars moment right here. And this. Look at him!
Oh, look at him! Let's talk about it.
I want to talk about it. Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! Look at him!
Oh my god, it's Hayden in that suit, you know.
I know, bro. I know.
Oh, you can't
like
see.
Live still even just the thought of live action Inquisitors are just really sick to me as well. Like seeing the Inquisitor lightsaber in live action is pretty cool. But
yeah, pull it back up. Pull it back up. Thank you, Mug.
Pull
it back up.
Pull it
back 1 more second.
Okay.
Look at those shins. You can see they're kind of obscured by smoke, but look, you can see the sheen through the fog, through the steam.
It's true.
Those shins are immaculate. Reva and Obi-Wan shins, mid shins. Vader shins.
Oh, stop!
Shin.
I don't.
What?
No shin. No shin shame.
Shin shame.
No shin shame.
For real though, I think the photo. It's the photo I like more is the one where it's silhouetted with Reva on the side, and you see the.
Well, that was part of the just a little feature they had for the photo shoot. That wasn't.
I know, but it's still like I like that image more.
I do too. I'm gonna see. I'll try to see if I can pull it up.
And then there's the image of Hayden training as Anakin.
I know.
Where it's like it says as Vader, but he has Anakin's lightsaber and he has the hair. I'm like, all right. I'm like, sure.
It's like okay, yeah. You can if you actually look. Yeah, it's his hilt. Like okay.
Okay. All right, Anakin.
Okay.
She said we know Reva's last name now. If anyone cares about that.
I don't. I must.
It's like Reva Savander or something. It's Savan something.
Savander.
Yeah, it's kind of like Harry Potter. Savanda maybe. She said it. It was like the time that Pedro Pascal in like the beginning of Mandalorian season 1 was like, my character Din Djarin before I knew his name, and
what?
Everyone was like,
who?
Din Djarin.
Who?
Like I thought, was that? So it'll probably grow on
What
us.
now?
What now?
Oh my god, bro. Yeah. Sorry. That's Ewan fighting Hayden, right? I
don't think so.
I don't
Maybe.
think it is. No. Here,
Anyway, so we got some Kenobi. There's a lot of Kenobi. It's obviously almost the entire show is leaked at this point.
Yeah.
If you're so inclined. No, that's not.
Look at that.
That's not. I know.
No, it's not. It's not.
Look at that man.
You know what he's training. You know what he's training for too. We know exactly what he's training for too.
Look who it is. It's the all new nerds together again.
There we go. Wow, that was quite the intro.
It wasn't even for you.
It was happening.
Okay, I thought it was.
Dylan, your thoughts. Lay them on us. What's your feeling? What are you feeling right now?
What am I feeling right now? Well, why don't you break it down for me with just what you guys were talking about exactly?
Dylan woke up.
Or we were talking about this picture, and I said,
"Oh, it's beautiful."
You know exactly what he's training for right now. That's Anakin's hilt, by the way, Dylan.
Oh, is it? Is he? He's not training with Ewan, is he?
No.
Okay.
He's training for something else.
Oh, okay. Well, that one feels good.
No, so most of what we've talked about so far is
Andor.
Well, Andor is big Andor, but also
Yes.
I was pushing back against the solo thing.
The solo thing.
I was thinking.
Really anti-Kathy on this one.
I haven't heard about the solo thing.
Lay it on him, because
I think everything else then.
Basically,
do the quick notes.
Yeah, basically she was like, the thing we learned from Solo is that we can't recast actors. That's the summary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
That's what was said. And honestly,
that's the summary.
That was the takeaway from Solo.
Well,
she said it was a big learning lesson.
Yeah, let me put it in more context. In the full interview, she says that at the time, she says at the time we thought it was a genuinely good idea, implying that with retrospect you did not think
now
it was
it's
good.
not.
Right.
I
Wikipedia's in the chat. Hello there. My take on that is that recasting actors isn't a great idea unless it takes place 10 plus years prior to that actor's appearance. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's such a weird thing to come back. Like, that clearly wasn't. A lot of people don't like.
It's more. Her comment is more nuanced than that.
Yeah,
but the ultimate takeaway, the implication is that they would never. Is that they wouldn't bring him back.
Maybe don't release 2 Star Wars movies like 4 months together after the most divisive Star Wars film of all time.
Right, or don't do summer releases.
Don't put it in Denny's. Don't get it anywhere near Denny's.
Yeah, oh my god, the Denny's promo.
It'll be good.
That was it. Yeah. That was what they did for promo. They
I
didn't show a trailer for that movie. Keep in mind, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, Force Awakens had 9-month plus marketing runs.
Mm-hmm.
Solo had 2.5 months. The first trailer, the teaser, was at the Super Bowl in February.
Yeah.
And the movie came out in May.
And that's insane.
We didn't hear anything about the first thing we got. The official thing we got was one photo of the cast in the Falcon, and then Ron Howard jokingly posted a photo of his sandwich in the trash can, saying "first set photo, first day on set," and that was all we got until the trailer. Badass teaser, by the way, with the guitar. But then the marketing was Denny's. Denny's. What an insane decision!
It's a good idea.
And they put it in between Jurassic World, which made $1.4 billion, Infinity War, Incredibles 2, and Deadpool 2. Yeah. What an insane decision! What a nonsensical.
But no, don't recast actors.
Yeah,
Dylan,
recast actors.
I'm
really mad about that. I'm not jazzed about that.
No, I'm not happy about that either.
And then the other thing we talked about was that there's positive, in my opinion, Rian Johnson news is the fact that they're literally like she brought him up in the thing. They're still talking with him, and he's still in meetings.
He's still in meetings.
And he's like still in brain trust meetings, like the story group kind of thing, which is so like I read that and I go, okay, if he is not doing it, there's no way like they would have just canceled it. Like the fact that they still have him coming in, it's like to me it gives me more confidence. But the
it's been the most long. He's been there the longest.
They did say that one's on hold though, right?
They just said that he is busy and that they're trying to make it work.
I mean he's got the knives out. Too.
All right, so
He's got
it's
that
still
Knives
in
Out
the
Netflix deal.
wheelhouse.
So
And then the other big news, which I'm sure you
Mug,
guys
you need
talked
to
about.
stop right now. I didn't even know they did that, but that needs to stop. I do not want to hear about
okay.
that. That does not sound good.
So Andor is next summer, right? Or this summer? Sorry.
No,
it's
in
like
this
3
summer.
months.
It's
It
right
comes
around
out
the
in like 3
corner.
months.
It's right around the corner.
It's very, very close.
Yeah, how do
We're
you feel
definitely
about
seeing stuff at Celebration.
Since we
like,
kind of had our
100%.
reactions, I want
How do you feel about Mon
I want to
Mothma?
focus on Dylan.
How do you feel about Mon
I
Mothma?
want to focus on Dylan and give him his due time, just so he can react. Dylan,
It's
what's your
beautiful.
reaction? Give your reaction.
Oh, my reaction is I've looked
Yeah.
at it 1,000 times, and
And how
every
about
time
this?
yeah, that's
How does
pretty
this
good
make you
stuff
feel?
there too. That's
Yeah?
I likey. Me likey. As a
You
Star Wars
likey?
fan, me likey. That's good stuff.
Okay, I'm happy to hear it.
Essie has
happy
never
to
been
hear
to
it.
Denny's. Don't go.
Don't
Go to
go.
IHOP instead.
Yeah.
Or don't go to any of those restaurants.
Just make
Or
breakfast in your
or just
house.
not.
Just
We have
go-
like a really there used to be a Denny's or something or IHOP around us, and now it's like an abandoned.
Really,
Something's
this,
going on there.
Batman.
Something shady.
Are Applebee's and Chili's
Anyways.
the same? Paul Dano,
Are they?
really
No.
question.
No,
Don't
They
think
are.
so.
Chili's good.
They're the same.
Applebee's, they're
So anyway,
basically
so
the
yeah,
same.
we were talking about
No.
Andor. I think Levi and I are both in agreement that it's gonna probably be
The best thing ever.
best thing ever.
Just me.
I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. As in, they released a little, not a synopsis, but just a little more details
talked
on
about it.
Andor itself, and
Yeah.
they actually do address
A lot of
the.
details. Yeah.
They address
Yeah.
the like
A lot on it.
not the issue, but like every fan's like, oh well, we've seen this character die. What arc can he have? And they're really going deep in Andor. Like it looks like they're going all the way to his birth. Then like we're gonna see
Well,
everything about this character.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so we were thinking like, oh, like is he just gonna carry this entire show by himself? But Mon Mothma
Yeah.
right here
She's a co-lead.
is a co-lead,
Totally, yeah, and she looks
so
like
she'll be
crazy.
highly significant in this show, which is
Right? Like,
very intriguing.
This is the.
So
I was.
Go ahead.
I was saying this to Johnny. When you open the Vanity Fair cover, when you see Ahsoka, Mando, Andor, you see these characters, and you're like, oh, the main characters of the
Nothing better.
shows. That's what's coming.
Nothing better.
You don't expect to see Mon Mothma.
No.
And so seeing her is the thing that clicked in my head of this show's going to be broad. They're going to cover a lot. They have a plan. They know what's going on. It's going to be political, spy thriller. That's what they're saying. Like, this could be amazing. So when you see Mon Mothma, like a character who is pretty, most characters wouldn't know her name. Most fans wouldn't know her name. What do you think? Like, what does that do for you? Because for me, it was like,
that's cool stuff.
And-
Mon Mothma's just always been like the rebel prior to A New Hope, but even then, she's very prominent in a.
You got to think about the
rebel.
catalyst that she can be for like stories, because she has the in with the Imperial Senate, which I feel like is something we really haven't gotten a lot of at
Right.
all.
Yeah, they
And so,
tiptoe around it a lot.
We're gonna see Imperial Coruscant, Dylan. Like this is gonna be, yeah,
It's gonna be crazy. Also, think about like Saw
It's good.
Gerrera. Like we know they have such an intense history
right.
together, and we're gonna be seeing some of that.
So much Saw. I think I'm over Saw. So,
I'm not over Saw.
he's been
I've
too
always
much.
liked what Saw Gerrera represents.
I like
Well,
Cersei.
although I do think it was done in Rogue One, like I don't know. Obviously they're gonna continue that in Andor. It's gonna be a continuing theme, but I don't know.
Interesting comparison. I'm almost done with Breaking Bad.
Breaking
right
Bad
now.
is Star Wars.
First time
Well,
watching
also just that we know what's going into this show. Like a lot of it's practical. There's a lot of like, it's not. They're
They
not
have
using any of
the-
the dome or the what's it called? Go
Levi.
You saying Underworld triggered something in my brain. And Essie saying Underworld, of course, on Underworld. Maybe I want to throw something else into the mix. Is that so? Kathleen Kennedy was talking about the brain trust, right? Ryan Johnson's in those meetings, so they throw around ideas for the core of Star Wars. Anthony Breznican said that Dave Filoni, who's part of that brain trust, obviously one of the big ideas of Lucasfilm, said this is the first time I've heard this. They are actively using ideas from that Coruscant Underworld show
Oh wow,
in
really?
content, and that they're going back and pulling stuff from those scripts because George had a hand in those, and so those are still like quote unquote sacred texts. Which I
throw
didn't
back
even,
to those, huh? Throw back to that test footage, huh?
which I didn't even consider. So for this Andor show, which I know is going to have a lot of crossover on Underworld Coruscant,
I imagine
How
we'll
about
be
that,
maybe going into Underworld, maybe a little bit, tiny bit. Yeah, it's gonna be
it's a good comparison.
interesting.
Like M.
Hmm.
But so yeah, but the fact that
Yeah.
in Book of Boba Fett. So it was called the Book of Boba Fett, and people were real mad when Mando had an episode. It was called The Show. One of the articles is about Jon Favreau defending it, and I'm on his side, but that's just me. But in Andor, when there's the potential of, oh, this is going to be a Mon Mothma Coruscant Senate episode, the fact that that's a possibility is like
very intriguing.
What universe am I on?
Yeah. And I mean, you got to even think about the time period we're living in right now with this. And, I mean, if we can even talk about, all the characters, we have to see if it's 3 seasons, 12 episodes, we're bound to run into Vader. We're bound to run into Tarkin. We're bound to run into Palpatine.
Krennic.
We're bound to rub into the Rebel crew. Like, there's so much. Obviously, Bail Organa. I mean, that's already kind of been said. But there's, and this could be crazy. Obviously, we don't know how their story ends, but even the Bad Batch potentially.
Yeah, them definitely less so. But I mean,
less so. But
where they go.
Did we get any word on Bad Batch?
No, and nor should we. This was a live action
sort
of thing.
Right,
and also the Bad Batch season 2 panel is literally in like a week from now.
Yeah.
They have a set announced date.
Right.
Eyes and Andor.
Yeah. I do want to talk about. Well, firstly, I want to say my source for that Underworld information. So I have fully read every single article, the 3, and I also listened to the podcast that Vanity Fair put out with Anthony Bresnikan and Adam Lance Garcia talking about the response to the article, and that's where the author mentioned that. So that's where that's coming from. And a couple other things from that, which are not mentioned in the article directly, is that Filoni told him some stuff about the Ahsoka plot, which I do want to, we've been talking about Andor for a while. I do want to transition into Ahsoka a little bit. Ahsoka won't be as episodic as Mando. It will be serialized, so one continuous story like Obi-Wan, and it'll be about hunting Thrawn, which we figured, but it's cool to hear that. Why? I mean, we got to assume Ezra figures in somehow. We've gotten some more reports about that, but yeah, Ahsoka. So how we feeling? How we feeling about Ahsoka?
I just I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than like it's just gonna be awesome. Just all this stuff is awesome. Like it's just good news.
Ahsoka is such a rich character, and we're at the point of where the story is going to be told is such an interesting. A lot of potential there, just with her backstory and history.
Definitely.
Now being thrusted into this, basically new era, because you got to think she skipped out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and also just as a Rebels fan, like it's like a pretty much a direct continuation, like to that story of that crew.
Right. And even the thought of seeing now we've had live action Clone Wars characters, not live action Clone Wars per se, but and now live action Rebels characters is very, very exciting. And you can even think of it's a Rebels continuation as much as an Ahsoka continuation, because obviously the biggest point is at the end of the show is the hunt for Ezra.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just think there's so much to tell, and even more focusing on Ahsoka as a character. I think there's a lot to be told with, what her situation's been like for as of recent, because we don't really know too much about, her that time, that period of time where she's in now, or kind of how she's dealt with that. And I don't know how heavy they'll go into the World Between Worlds stuff and kind of what happened in Rebels, but it seems that it's going to be somewhat significant because it's the logo is
it's been using the marketing and stuff.
Worlds looking, so
I'm sure we'll at least get some kind of mention of it. We're also gonna have to find out where Ahsoka has been. Yeah. I don't know, and also just where the timelines match up to from Mando to Boba Fett to the end of Rebels. Because we don't actually know. I mean, obviously we know Boba takes place after Mando, but I don't know. We don't know when that ends.
And a couple other takes place. Yeah, absolutely. And a couple other things. I mean, this is obviously a suspicion I've had, but Mark Hamill's not going to Celebration. And and it's because he's working on a project, and guess what's filming right now?
Yeah, he did say some kind of project that was unrelated. It had a name and everything. if I recall.
Does
I
it?
remember being like, "Oh, that's weird that he's like doing a movie or he's doing a show or something."
It's probably a code name for Ahsoka.
Probably called Ahsoka.
Tano.
Well, anyways, I mean, either way, I do think Luke is bound to be in that show, and obviously Hayden's in it, so he's bound to have some kind of role. But,
well, to broaden the conversation, what Kathy was talking about in her interview was that Star Wars in general, they want to take it just broader. Like they want to move away from trilogies. They just want to make, like they want it to be more serialized. Like they want it just to be able to come out. She started talking about Fortnite at one point, and I made me a little bit nervous.
Really? What was she saying about Fortnite?
Well, to be fair, the question she got asked was about like the metaverse and VR, and she was just saying, and she said, "Well, look at what Epic Games can do with Fortnite, where." And laugh all you want, but they have a huge player base, and they are able to interweave like a story. Like there's a story, like The Rock is in Fortnite. Right. Like if you want to know Fortnite lore, like you can read a Fortnite wiki.
Right.
I was at Barnes and Noble today, and there was a Batman graphic novel that was Batman X Fortnite.
That's weird.
Yeah, like there's a story. Like because apparently Fortnite is like this multiversal story. There's a canon where like all the universes are real within the Fortnite canon, and so they interact with like the place.
That's where you could watch Palpatine's his
that's
podcast
why
that he put out to the world.
That's what Kennedy was talking about. She was like, yeah, so Fortnite's canon. No, but the point she was making was at some point, like Lucasfilm right now, they're trying to figure out a way to keep to not do something in Fortnite, but to make a story that is able to. It's always ongoing, like so you can like sort of live within the tale as it's being told. So I thought that was interesting. That she wants to take Star Wars, she wants to open it up, and she wants to get commitments from filmmakers to just stay on, just like John has done. Just as John has done, and just stick with it. They're not going to do the switch back and forth thing between directors and writers anymore. They're not doing that. They just want one team, one vision, one idea, multiple at the same time, but just these groups just going forward.
Well, this seems to be. I kind of think about it like the Kenobi Andor group, and then the Ahsoka and Mando kind of group. And I feel like those are the two separate things. But
right now, so Taika's movie has actually been pushed in front of Rogue Squadron, right?
Yeah. That's first.
Right. So that's going to be coming out. So Rogue Squadron is still.
We didn't get a date. Yeah. I don't...
No. But Rogue Squadron is still at least maybe happening. According to them.
She said that Patty has to take more time to rework the script, and that lines up with what we heard, and also lines up with the fact that she had Wonder Woman 3 and Cleopatra going on, and she had to drop Cleopatra. Like she clearly she overbooked herself. It seems like. And so they were like, "Well, do you want to make this movie or not?" And it seems like she chose to make Star Wars at some point instead of making Cleopatra. It sounds like she dropped Cleopatra. She's I'm just gonna be a producer on that. I'm not gonna direct, and I'm gonna do Rogue Squadron at some point. So that movie, according to Kathy, as of this interview, is still happening. She's still writing it. They're reworking it because they weren't happy with what they got. And then Taika's movie has been leapfrogged up. I know. And that they confirmed that Taika is working with, and I think it already was confirmed a long time ago, but I'd forgotten that the writer of that movie is the person who wrote 1917. So
yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a sort of a mix and mash of tone there. But I'm excited. I'm excited for what that's going to bring. We don't really have any hints of what they're going to do with that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I see.
I feel like we'll at least maybe get a update of some sort on Taika's thing at Celebration, hopefully. But...
I see Dimes keeps bringing up John Watts, and so yeah, his grammar rodeo thing has gotten
really official
more details, right?
It's official.
Where they're looking for 11 to 12-year-olds, right?
But it's official, but with some change. So previously, we thought that the show was in the higher public. Now they say in the article that it's takes.
Oh, is it not?
It's post-return.
It takes place post-return of the Jedi in the Mando era, which would make you think that it's Luke's academy, with the students training, which quite frankly kind of confuses me that there's another.
Why are they giving that to John Watts though?
I liked it much more in the higher public.
The higher public thing sounded much more intriguing.
Why do they just John Watts is a bot? He's a bot. Why are they giving this to John Watts? If it's Luke related.
It must be some kind of Luke related thing, because how the hell are they like?
I mean, I remember it was being called like a Stranger Things
in space, and that's still the goal.
Yeah. So I don't know if that necessarily needs to be a Luke's Academy. I mean,
it doesn't necessarily be. It doesn't. But the fact that it wouldn't be.
But like what?
When you hear it pitched and you hear kids and one master, you're thinking, oh, it's Padawans on like a journey And
One Master, is that confirmed? Is that like a...
Like, are they just gonna...
It's Jude Law, I think is who they got, or something like that.
For what?
I think he was cast for
well, it's not
the
Luke.
show. No, Jude Law.
Oh, so they are like fully...
The show's definitely happening.
They're filming it like now.
Right.
Yeah, Jude Law was reported to be cast as the lead adult character in the, at the time, the High Republic show.
Right.
So,
Whoa.
see, the thing is, it's weird because everything about the show, besides the era, the rumors were all 100% accurate, down to like the casting ages when they were filming it, the title, like they call it Grammar Rodeo in the article.
Well, they must have
like,
changed that.
I mean, it's
Pretty
weird.
Fairly recently.
Yeah, that would be like a major change. It's possible
yeah,
they
I think
just...
it is a major
It's
change.
possible they just got the report wrong, or like there is a High Republic show in the works, and that was just...
Well, there is.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the Acolyte.
Right.
Which I want to talk about. But
confusing.
Okay, that confuses me.
I don't know.
And it makes me.
I don't know how
less
I
excited.
don't know how I like. Yeah, I don't know how I'm like feeling about just like they're just being like, another just Jedi that has just a bunch of younglings around him around that time period.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
I don't know if, again, I don't know if that's necessarily the premise, but it seems to be where it's leaning.
I mean,
but also it just says after Return of the Jedi. That doesn't mean Mandoverse. That can...
I feel like they would have said after Rise of Skywalker if that's...
Well, I mean, it can mean
they
before...
would have said.
Yeah, but it can be like closer to Force Awakens. I mean, we're still pretty far from there where we are in Mandoverse. Luke's Academy has probably come a long way 10 years after Mando, So we still got a lot of time within there to work around that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That makes me significantly less excited for that.
I have a feeling it's disconnected to the shows.
Depends.
But...
It depends though, because right now our post Return of the Jedi era consists of 0 to 6 years afterwards. If this is like 20 years afterwards, could be interesting. I
agree. Like, I mean, it could be completely. It can be its own thing.
It could be totally disconnected from the Mando era. I think I would be less interested if they make it another Mando era show. I don't need another one of those right now.
Same.
I think they got that story unlocked with what they've got. Don't want it to be oversaturated.
Yeah, you say that now, then flash forward to us in the
screaming
in the hall, learning about the Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni channel, being like, "And here's our next show."
Yeah.
I
directed by John Watts. It's in the Mandoverse, everybody.
Here he is, John Watts. It's Tom Holland.
I'm just nervous that
Gibbs,
I
invited you on Gibbs. I invited Gibbs on.
I'll get him on.
I'm just nervous that I don't know, like hearing Stranger Things in Star Wars does not sound very appealing to me. I don't know if that's necessarily like the truth or the the exact feeling of the show, but I don't know. I don't like 10 and 11-year-olds, and I don't like a lot of them either.
Why not? What's wrong with them?
They're very annoying.
Dude, I've been seeing a lot of Billy and Bobby hate. Not Billy and Bobby, that's from Moon Knight. What are Wanda's kids' names?
They suck. They're the worst.
I've been seeing a lot of hate for them.
Yeah, I could sympathize with what's her name, Scarlet Witch, a little more if her kids weren't like so annoying.
Dude,
what are the names?
Why were they singing that song?
I wanted to. I was like cringing.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
What are their names? It's Billy and
Tommy.
Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was going crazy. I just can't get Wiccan, like Hulkling and Speed. I'm like, it's Wiccan and Speed out of my head.
Isn't it weird that like Vision's not in that movie at all?
Okay, we're not going down the
okay, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
We're not doing Mom.
I can be mean about Marvel. Have you talked about She-Hulk yet?
We talked about it for like a minute.
Okay, hey,
I don't think it's as bad as you guys think.
I did a Morbius interlude earlier. She-Hulk interlude. Here we go. She-Hulk interlude.
You're gonna sit down and look me in the eyes and tell me that looks good. No,
I don't think the CGI looks as bad as you guys are claiming.
It looks like a Sims character, bro. You can't be. You're joking. You are lying, Johnny. It looks so bad. We're in 2022. We can't be accepting this kind of stuff.
What did you say, Dylan?
I think she looks pretty close to how Hulk looks.
No. That's the weird thing. Like Professor Hulk looks pretty good. Like he looked fine.
Yeah,
she specifically looked like very bad.
I don't know. I think you're just saying that because it's new. I don't know,
man. Not the case. I'm gonna bring up pictures and we're gonna laugh at it.
Okay, here I'm in the middle here. Nuanced take.
Even
I
in
think she
motion,
looks
I think
bad.
it looks fine.
I think she
I
looks
don't
awful, but I think
agree.
the show looks good. I'm
Really,
excited
The
to
show
see
looks
it.
good. I
trailer,
don't think
maybe
she
I was
looks
just so
awful.
focused on the CGI, but the trailer did not blow me away.
See, I liked the trailer. I was interested, especially knowing it gave me almost a Peacemaker vibe with some of like the alternate heroes in there, and with the
Seemed
implied
getting a
violence
little
of the character.
raunchy with it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
I'm a big,
I like that.
I like the Hulk, so
You like that?
I like the Hulk. I don't know about your thing, what you.
But
just
the
did, I
fact
don't know
that
about
she looks the way she does, she does not look good.
no, she looks
Thank
atrocious
you,
even.
Marco.
I'm
Like,
pulling
did
up
she
a picture
mocap
now.
that? Like,
Well, yeah, where it looks like she.
The tagline for
Man.
the
ugh, dude.
you'll like her when she's mad.
Like,
That
bro,
does not
look at
look
her.
good.
No, I like
That
her
looks
when she's
very-
mad. Don't worry.
You
I like
can't.
her when she's
You
mad.
can't
No,
sit
it's
there
good.
and tell me that looks like really good.
No,
like,
no. I like her when she's mad.
like what happened to the like just Marvel FU money? Where did that go? Why isn't that going into making that look good?
Martin Scorsese took it all. He robbed
Because
the
she is
bank.
like a big. She is the name of this show, and she can't look that bad in this whole
Attorney at Law.
show.
They added that. Attorney at Law.
Attorney at
It's
Law.
not in the original title. I am intrigued. I don't think it looks as bad as people claim.
I think the show looks good. I'm excited for it actually. I didn't think I
I'm
would be, but
actually
I am.
excited for it
I
too.
think we should all get really mad about how the CGI looks.
I think it looks
that's
bad.
a
Yeah.
very
and
appropriate
and
response to this kind of stuff.
MCU Frogman. Extremely
it's-
excited about that.
I think it has kind of. It's like Peacemaker had a baby with a CW show. Is what it looks like to me.
Well,
Okay, it's
I
gonna
can
be
agree with
good.
the Peacemaker type stuff.
However, I am excited because I've been going down every time a new Marvel thing comes out. I've actually been reading like the best comics of the thing, and I'm very excited because Charles
Anybody
Soule
know
has
about
done.
this?
What in the
Yeah, I don't know
7-foot
that,
body double? I couldn't tell you.
And Charles
Maybe.
Soule has written a She-Hulk run, and I love Charles Soule, and I'm excited to read.
Oh,
that.
I didn't know he did.
Why does Hulk just get to be Hulk? Like, why
What?
not
What?
green?
Can we go back to Star Wars? I don't want
What
to
are
talk
you
about
asking?
this.
Why does Hulk
like-
want to be Hulk?
Because
Have
there's
to
like
be Hulk?
Red Hulk, and then there's just the Hulk.
Yeah.
But then there's
Yeah.
She-Hulk. What if there's another woman Hulk? What do they call her?
She Red Hulk.
Is there
Really?
really?
Yeah.
Dang, they did not think that one through when they started that chain.
There
Like,
is
oh,
She Red
man, I
Hulk.
mean, it's Hulk, but it's red, so like
Hold on.
Hulk,
Hold on.
She Red Hulk. That's
There
hilarious.
is.
Okay, Star Wars.
It's hard to talk about Star Wars when there's bad
Gibbs.
things associated with it.
Woo!
What's going on?
Give us your thoughts, baby.
I'm in the dark.
Woo!
I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Did you
We
read
were
the
talking about
articles
what?
at all?
What?
The
Did you read
Vanity
the
Fair
articles
article.
at all?
I haven't read them. I thought it didn't come out until June.
No,
Bro,
no, they're-
okay,
actual
the
magazine.
guests, every guest we bring on knows progressively less and less.
I thought that the magazine comes out in June. No.
There's Red She-Hulk, everybody.
Red She-Hulk. There you
Right,
go.
She-Hulk.
Here you go.
Magazine doesn't come out in.
No, it's out.
No, it's out.
What's that? You can
Yeah.
you can get a physical copy and.
I've ordered it. Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna get
that's-
mine tomorrow.
No.
No, you know
Anyways.
what?
Short
All
answer,
right.
no.
All right. Well,
Anyways. So
you know, I've
I'm
heard
trying to
that.
think what else. Guardians 2 is underrated. Thank you, Carter. Carter's here, everybody.
Carter friend, legend,
So Carter friend.
legendary comedian,
Friend of the
of
Carter.
the all nerd, friend of the John Campia. We love John Campia. No, there's tons of stuff to talk about. I mean, you haven't like
Actually,
seen
well,
anything?
here we go.
No, I've been off.
Want to talk about this?
I've seen some stuff. I don't know the extent.
Here, show him the images. Hit him with the images. Check out
No,
one of that.
no,
Check
no,
out.
knows the
I've seen
images.
I've seen all this. I'm not.
He knows the
under a rock.
images.
Hit him with a Mon Mothma.
And I watched
Hit him with
the.
a-
Do you know about Mon Moth? Okay, well I'll just give him
Sure, give me the
quick
rundown.
fire things.
I'll tell you what. I know.
Mon Mothma is gonna be the co-lead of Andor, and it looks like she will take him. Okay,
Knew that.
you like that? Imperial Senate, going into that stuff.
I mean, that seems. That seemed like it was a lock, anyways. I could have
Okay.
guessed that.
I didn't think it was the lock at
Okay.
all. I thought she'd be a character. I didn't think she'd be a co-lead.
I guess
Kathleen
that's really
Kennedy
surprised,
regrets
but you don't have K2SO,
having
so
Alden
it's really
Ehrenreich as Han Solo.
Ugh.
good. That's
Sort of. I mean, that's definitely a little out of
thumbs
context.
down.
But
I,
that's
Yes,
not what she
Ryan-
said. That's not.
Ryan
that's not-
Johnson is still in the story group meetings to this day, and his trilogy seems to still be in the works after he's done with Knives Out.
Okay. Neutral reaction.
Okay.
All right. Well, here let's do a whole new show, a whole new topic because there's just
Whole
so
new
much
show,
that they talked in.
which
So that we all
is
can jump in. The Acolyte. They talked a lot about the Acolyte.
yeah.
So the Acolyte officially confirmed to be 100 years before.
Yeah.
I can just read you. I can just read
Jedi
you.
wearing the like white robes.
Okay, was what I said a little on context?
let me-
Sure, but it's the same. It's the main.
Yeah,
same message.
let me just read you some quotes from Leslie about it. Leslie Headland, the showrunner.
Thank you.
So she's talking in reference to the Skywalker saga because this is obviously outside of that. So far, this is the farthest thing that we will get on screen
So far.
outside of the Skywalker saga that we know. So she says a lot of the characters haven't even been born yet. We're taking a look at the political and personal and spiritual things that came up in a period of time that we don't know much about. My question when watching The Phantom Menace was always like, well, how did things get to this point? How did we get to a point where a Sith Lord can infiltrate the Senate and none of the Jedi pick up on it? Like, what went wrong? What are the scenarios that led us to this moment? Headland reiterated the initial premise that the Acolyte will be a mystery thriller and states that the show is set in a period, the High Republic, the Age of Enlightenment, a time of peace and prosperity when the Jedi Order became more withdrawn from the public eye, rarely getting into physical confrontations. And then she goes on to say, we actually use the term Renaissance or the Age of Enlightenment. The Jedi uniforms are gold and white, and it's almost like they would never get dirty. They would never be out and about. The idea is that they could have these types of uniforms because that's how little they were fighting. So yeah, it'll act like we'll have 2023, yada yada yada. But it's about there's more quotes about how she wants to explore the Sith infiltrating the Republic in the show, and it's exciting.
We like.
Perspective. All right.
Yeah, I mean, or there is a Sith perspective in the show. Yeah,
I want to see Plagueis.
And
it's 100 years before.
So I mean, that would just make sense, right? Or at least something leading
I feel
into
like-
Plagueis.
I think it's too early. And I
Plagueis
think it's.
Master.
you think it's too early?
I think even
Prior
yeah.
to how long do moons live, or how long did
Even
Plagueis
okay,
live?
so here's the deal. Here, let me lay out a timeline for y'all. So Phantom Menace takes place 32 BBY, 32 years before Episode 4. This would take place 132 BBY. At the period of 32 BBY, Palpatine had like just killed Plagueis like within the last, recently, and
Right.
Plagueis was not like that old. Like he would probably be the equivalent of like a 60 or 70-year-old. So for him to be like relevant 100 years before, I don't really buy that. I could see Tenebris maybe, which is his master, would be younger, but I don't think
He'd be
Plagueis
pretty
is actually-
significant.
because previously we thought the show was going to be 50 years before Phantom Menace, but adding another 50 years to that, I think takes Plagueis out of the equation, quite frankly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sad. Bummer.
Is a bit sad, but I don't. We'll see Plagueis one day.
You get
I
there.
hope. I mean, they could also retcon a little bit, right? I mean, there's no like
Just
a
make
lot
him
of that is
real
legend.
old.
Yeah, how much is there? I feel like there is wiggle room with Plagueis.
Well,
It's a lot of
I
legend
guess
stuff.
you would just have to make him really old, like
Yeah.
really old, which
But
I don't
also,
I don't
mean,
really like.
Then sure, Tenebris or whatever his name is, do him, and
You
then
like
we
it?
can get
Okay.
Plagueis. Yeah,
Just 100 years before, I don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean nothing. I don't think nothing extremely new about Acolyte, right? I didn't.
Well, the fact that it's explicitly in the High Republic era, we're going to be seeing the robes like that you see in the books on screen. Like I think that
Yeah.
to me screamed like, okay, they're. And
I mean,
Kathleen had a
that
couple
is
of
going to
quotes
be
about-
very cool to see. I can't wait for the trailers for that. That'll be very exciting.
I just can't wait.
Nothing
Because
crazy,
the
but yeah, I mean,
people like Leslie Headland.
Acolyte,
What was that-
Acolyte's
What
very.
was that noise?
Me?
You went ah.
I don't think I did that.
You did kind of make an RT.
Yeah, you did. What do you
Huh?
mean? This is a Count Dooku moment. You just went ah.
Yeah. Do you not remember what you just did?
Yeah, you went ah. Like you literally your face like cringed. I don't know.
Nothing to
We
say.
have it recorded. Someone clip that?
So,
I like the title of your guys' stream. I don't know
what
who
is
came
it
up
even?
with that one.
That's what the article is called. That's not. I didn't. Come up
Oh,
with that.
is that what the article is called?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
clever.
please.
That's clever.
We're not that.
Clever. It is clever.
It's clever.
just so I can get someone on my side, Ben, what do you think about this She-Hulk CGI?
It looks awful.
God.
I'm on your side.
It looks so bad.
I don't
Tony
think it looks as bad as you guys are saying.
Continually will defend $100 billion company for making below
Garbage.
average CGI. And
We're
it's obvious
Marvel
it's
has been
cheaping out.
regressing.
They have the money. It's regressing. It looks
I will
awful.
agree they've been regressing, but I don't think She-Hulk specifically looks that bad.
It looks like a video game character.
And you know it's bad when like there's green screen issues. I mean, that was Moon Knight, but like
I'm gonna say, like, it looks a lot worse than Avatar.
What are you saying? Where was the green screen issues?
you would like look at the character and you could tell they're
Yeah,
on a
you
green
could
screen.
see
Like the
the-
lighting
yeah.
wasn't even like
Oh, for
appropriate
Moon Knight,
green screen
yeah.
at all. Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what you're
So I'm
talking
just saying,
about? I
like,
think you're
this
talking about
seems.
She-Hulk.
I was worried about it in Moon Knight, and now just seeing She-Hulk, I'm like, oh, so they just like hate. They just are bad now. They just like doing bad.
They're bad
CGI
now.
And that's just what it is. Like,
Yeah. I'm not
Well,
really.
I mean,
into that
I
at
didn't think the
all.
trailer was anything too great either, but I won't. I like Hulk.
I actually
like
liked the
Bruce Banner,
trailer.
so.
I actually liked the trailer a lot. I'm very intrigued by the show. I'm very excited to see Daredevil.
I was seeing that is sort of how the character is in the comics usually, right? It's sort of like a rom-com like type story, typically, not as serious.
Sure. I mean, yeah. She's also a lawyer, so it's
Well,
heavy into
true
the.
that. I mean,
lot-
sort
lawyer
of like
stuff.
the tone of this show. Looks
Yeah.
Right.
Not really
Sitcom-y
heavy
almost.
MCU.
Yeah.
It doesn't really interest me.
Here,
Neither
Ben,
does Marvel. Neither does Echo. Neither
For-
does Harkness.
Yeah.
Oh no, that one I'm not.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
excited
who's ready? Who's ready for Echo?
Me?
Yeah.
Me. Daredevil cast.
Here, can I? I know, audience, people who come in late. I know Brent, Dimes, you haven't heard this. Johnny, you've already heard this, but I want to read it for Gibbs and Dylan. This is about Andor. I want to go back to Andor just because it's the thing I'm most excited about. But I want to read to you guys what it says. Luna describes Andor as a refugee story, with desperate people fleeing the Empire at the full force of its power. It's the journey of a migrant, he says. The feeling of having to move is behind this story, very profoundly and very strong. That shapes you as a person. It defines you in many ways and what you're willing to do. Gilroy, the showrunner, breathes deep and reveals a little more about Andor. This guy gave his life for the galaxy, right? I mean, he consciously, soberly, without vanity or recognition, sacrificed himself. Who does that, he asks. What this first season is about, which it goes into the whole 3 seasons thing. They have a plan for each season. What the first season is about him being really revolution averse and cynical and lost and kind of a mess. The story begins with the destruction of Andor's birth world, then follows him into adulthood when he realizes he can't run forever. Quote, his adopted home will become the base of our first whole season, and we watch that place become radicalized over the show. Like, okay, having these like things, knowing these things throughout the show is really cool to me. Then we see another planet that's completely taken apart in a colonial kind of way. The Empire is expanding rapidly. They're wiping out anybody who's in their way. By journey's end, Andor's path will be to block theirs. The show also focuses on the enigmatic rebel leader Mon Mothma, played by Genevieve O'Reilly. She was reprising the role. Many Bothans died to bring us this information. In Andor, her story will run parallel to the title character, whom we know will eventually become one of her key agents. It is a huge orchestral Dickensian ensemble cast, says Gilroy. Like, to me, that's like crazy. To hear that, that's
Yeah.
Exciting.
Like I said earlier, I'm just glad they kind of addressed the like, oh yeah, this is a character that you've seen that is dead. Like, you know how he dies. So like we have a story to tell here, and then they go in a little more in depth what they want to tell. So it's because that's always kind of been my main concern is like, where's the arc? Because we've seen his arc. But like, I don't know, it looks like we're getting down and dirty. We're getting
So do
dark
we know
with it.
exactly how many years before New Hope this is going to be?
It's 5 years.
Okay, I want to see Chopper Base in this show at some point. Then
I think
Maybe.
I think we will see Rebels.
I love Chopper.
We're bound to
No,
run into Rebels.
gonna
We're bound
see
to run
Rebels.
into Vader.
That's a lot.
Tarkin,
That's a lot. But I
Palpatine.
want to see Chopper Base.
I can't get over the fact.
Lothal would be cool if they can have an excuse.
Ooh, live action Lothal is very intriguing.
I've always wanted to see it in live action.
I want to get your take on this, Gibbs. It just makes me so confident to hear Henry Gilroy talk about, oh, this is like the through line of the first season. You have the parallels between these two planets, and you see different things happening to them. Like they have, even when just talking about it in a casual sense, he's referencing these themes they've established that they want to establish for this massive show. I mean, it's going to be a 36 episode story in total. And the fact that they're confident enough to, I can't get over it. They put Mon Mothma on the Vanity Fair cover shoot. Like, that's wild. I just threw my pen. I can't get over that.
What Star Wars media didn't do that? We should ask. I
do you
believe, Levi, you like them a lot. The 3 sequel movies.
Okay.
They went into them without a plan. Well,
They had a
this is
different kind of
good.
plan.
I agree. No, they had no plan.
They had some plan. They had plans for characters. And that is indisputable fact. There's that 2014 meeting. You can quote it. They
Yeah,
talk about Rey being a Skywalker in that meeting.
Yeah.
Stuff in
But
there.
guess
My
what?
point is
You know what
if
they
you're
did?
sitting down-
You know what they did? Like, no, let's do this actually. No. Let's do it to this. No,
I won't
let's
dispute
change
that.
this. And then,
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I don't.
I'm very excited.
This is
that,
good news.
I mean,
because,
this is very good news about
obviously,
Andor.
it's great that they're pointing to things.
You know
out, so
damn
going
well
to
it's
be-
different for a TV show of 36 episode scale is much different. And to think thinking about that long, that's a big deal to me that they have that commitment.
I mean, I think we all were kind of taken aback by the 3 12-episode seasons, considering that's going to be
daunting.
a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I
That
mean,
is
you got to
pretty
think
good.
about.
That
I
they're
mean,
gonna
even in the
do.
featurette, they were like, we have the most costumes or alien costumes we've ever
costumes, yeah.
made for anything, and I think
There's
wasn't it the
400
three
named
sequels?
characters.
The 3 sequels combined,
Yeah, Neil Scanlon's
more than that.
production team is like more.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, Andor is gonna be huge.
I'm just
Like-
excited also because, like, don't get me wrong, I love the Mandoverse stuff, but I just feel like it's gonna have a completely different just feel.
Tone,
just,
yeah.
like,
I mean, it's a whole different era.
literally
They're
based
shooting
off
on
also just
location,
how
too. We
they're-
haven't talked
yeah,
about that
exactly
at all.
how they're making it. Like,
Mhm.
it's not. I don't think they're using any.
Did they say
volume.
purely
Yeah,
location?
that's-
Are they doing a mix, or is it all?
I think
There's
they might.
definitely sets, but-
I imagine it's a mix, but
Hi, Connor.
I
Friend of the
call
show,
it-
Connor.
We talked about this not on a live stream, but we talked about it last night with Brent, and how a lot of the Mando stuff always feels like it's a closed set, except for the tragedy.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was
an open
It's
set.
quite literally, yeah. It like was open
Like
set.
you can tell, because I
Right,
think
yeah.
now that we've become so accustomed to the technology, like you can see where the volume meets the set, like every single
Right,
time.
yeah.
Like once you know how to look for it, you're not going to miss it. So I'm excited to get back out on location, even though volume is awesome, and I think it's
Yeah, I
only
mean, we've
gonna
gotten
get better.
got a lot of set photos from their shoot.
Right.
A lot of questions though, still.
I just wonder how many times in the show we're gonna be away from Andor. Like how many side stories or B plots they plan to have there. I mean, the news of Mon Mothma already.
Yeah,
is like,
that's the thing.
here's
I feel
another
like
character
there
we're
is.
following.
They are saying that it's going to be kind of,
Right.
they'll have multiple plots going at the same time.
Right.
And someone
I
was saying
imagine-
earlier, it's kind of like the Breaking Bad of Star Wars, which I think in a way, it could be.
Breaking Bad of
Because
Star Wars.
Breaking Bad
Better Call
goes
Saul, yeah.
has a lot of different stories going at once. But anyway, sorry, don't I cut you off?
No, I mean you pretty much capped off where I was gonna go with it.
Very exciting! Very exciting! We're back in
And
Star
we don't-
Wars, baby!
And we don't know a lot, but they did mention
No.
how Mando season 3 is coming either later
Yeah,
this
they
year.
didn't say too much about Mando, right?
Well, just that it's underway. It's well underway.
Yeah.
They're enjoying it. I don't know. It's good.
Hey, good. Good for them, huh?
Yeah.
They're doing it.
I'm just
It's the
excited.
show
They're
everyone
doing
loves.
Hey.
They'll do it
Good.
again and again and again and again. They're gonna keep
And
doing it.
again,
There-
and
there was
again.
There was a James Cameron bit in here too. Your least favorite filmmaker. So
Oh
I
no!
don't
What's
know.
James Cameron doing?
basically, Kathy was telling the story of the volume, and she was saying that James Cameron. Here, I read the quote. James Cameron came to visit.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
next door working on the Avatar sequels in his water tank, which I think is a funny statement. That James Cameron has this pool that he has. He's like, well, I'm working on my sequels. He's been doing it for 10 years.
tank.
He's been doing it for a decade, so it's just funny that James Cameron's literally just like splashing around in the pond just for 10 years. Like, this. Think about this. She's talking about this. This was like 2017 or 2018 that they were filming Mando, testing the volume, and he was just still in his tank, still filming. That movie's coming out this year. Crazy to me. Anyway, James Cameron came to visit. He was next door working on the Avatar sequels in his water tank. John had asked for us to display on the monitors the tests we'd shot earlier in the day. I remember distinctly Jim taking off his glasses and leaning close to look at the quality of the image and how convincing it was. I think for everyone that afternoon was the eureka moment because it was working. If we could make it work for James Cameron, we can make it work for anyone. So
Yeah.
because he's the Avatar man,
He's the
Is he?
Avatar man.
Before Avatar,
like
there was
that.
no special effects. There was nothing before
Right.
Avatar.
There's
Right,
the
there's
Last
nothing-
Airbender Avatar. There's the anime, as what's his name?
Anime.
Steven calls it. The blue people.
Oh, the blue
Anime.
people.
Anime.
Oh, he's talking about the anime.
talking about the anime.
Steven.
He wasn't.
Steven.
He wasn't
Why
talking
don't you
about
call
either. of
me
them.
Mark.
They call me Mark. We could just do the whole rest of the stream. This is
Yeah.
Let's
Moon
just
Knight.
get the
When
let's
you
just get the
talk about
transcript.
Moon Knight, I have a sour taste in my mouth nowadays.
Do you really?
About it?
I just thought the finale was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was that sour for you? Okay.
I hate to be that guy, but like
I loved Moon Knight.
I didn't really like it either, and
that was gonna be the low-key toppler, and I didn't do it.
And I still think that like Marvel in general, like Multiverse of Madness, I know you guys got some different takes. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's that good though. Like that was like, oh, I kind of need like I need a movie or a show or something to really like pull me in, to pull me back.
Right.
Was it an amazing film? No.
A little marveled out. I think we're all a little marveled out over here.
I'm not.
I will take Multiverse of Madness type movies all day.
Yeah, I'm a mom fan. Big mom
Thor,
fan. Anyway,
cannot wait.
Can I switch it back to
Oh yeah, Thor actually excited about.
Can I switch it back to Star Wars for a second here?
You could.
So Obi-Wan Kenobi, you may have heard of it, is a show coming out soon.
Yeah, I know. Week 2 days.
Maybe. And in this interview, they go into a lot about the decision-making process of getting Vader back and whether or not they recognize in the first drafts of the scripts, way back when, Anakin Vader was not in it. It was a much more contained story. That's when they were making it a movie, and they wanted to. So if you guys remember, they paused filming, and this was like right before the pandemic, and the pandemic happened, and so people just were like, "Oh, is Obi-Wan canceled?" But no, they were rewriting it, and Deborah Chow was fighting to get Anakin canceled.
Right.
And so she has this quote here. She talks about why she did it. So she says, "For me, across the prequels through the original trilogy," she's talking about Obi-Wan Anakin here. There's a love story dynamic between these two that goes through the whole thing. I felt like it was quite hard to not include the person who left Kenobi in such anguish in the series. I don't think Obi-Wan will ever not care about Anakin. What's special about their relationship is that they loved each other. So yeah, I thought that was a little interesting quote about why it needed
to be.
Nice. Remember when this show was a movie? Remember when Book of Boba Fett was a movie?
Remember when we like talked about this show for like ever and ever, and now it's like next week? Can we believe it? And we're gonna be at Star Wars Celebration, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like
hard to believe.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna be in LA or Anaheim next week.
Next week?
That's insane. Yeah.
Right now.
Yes, sir.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Dime's put it the best.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to acknowledge this because a lot of work was put into this. The cheese community is toxic. They pretend to age the best interest of cheese fandom at heart, is when in reality they attack smaller creators and manipulate their audience to get attention.
It's so true.
It's interesting. Honestly. Thank you.
I have personal experience in the cheese community. I guess.
Not good. It gets rough out there. Stay safe.
People say Filoni is overrated. They forget that he worked on Avatar: Last Airbender. It's true.
True.
I guess there are people out there that think he's
he was a storyboard,
I guess, but
yes.
He directed a few episodes too. He actually he worked pretty closely on that show. But that was like the reason he got into Star Wars in general, is because he was working on that show. Yeah. Or not into Star Wars, but
makes sense, man.
He had the position in Star Wars. He was
overall,
a Star Wars fan.
Overall, though, as a group here, how are we feeling about Star Wars after this article?
So bad. Star Wars is gonna suck. I hate it. I'm done. I'm done with the channel. I'm out.
I really wish I would encourage everyone to just read it in the audience, and you guys who haven't read it yet, because it is like really there's a lot that's talked about.
I want to read the.
I've seen mostly just sprinkles from like Instagram accounts and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. It sounds like things are. I mean, they've been in motion, and we're just hearing about it now, so it's exciting. And just for I don't know, Andor to be this summer, like that feels so close. So
and Kenobi.
They talked about that.
Yeah,
next week.
This summer.
Yo, Andor's coming out in like 3 months.
I was hoping it was gonna be like November or October.
November?
No, it comes out in August.
12. It's 12 episodes.
What about Bad Batch? So it's gonna be over a lot.
It's a She-Hulk. I think Bad Batch at this point is gonna come out in between Kenobi and Andor. It's gonna be the middle summer show. It's gonna be like July. It's gonna be the end of June and July.
Yeah, but you think it's gonna be 16 episodes? That's
I think we're gonna learn on Celebration. I think my theory right now, honestly, is that they're gonna say it's coming out now. It's gonna start.
They have a season 2 panel.
Yeah, season 2 has been in the can for a while.
Yeah, but if Bad Batch starts on like June, it's going to September.
Yeah, that math checks out. I don't know. There has to be overlap.
Unless they
just release it in chunks.
That could that goes to September 21st. So
I don't know. I think they're gonna overlap it.
They said They said Bobo is going to be, end of December.
Bobo?
They squeeze it right in there.
Right, yeah.
The 29th.
I mean, look at bad like this article. Bad Batch isn't mentioned once, and I think partially it's because they're going to announce it soon, and so it's kind of redundant.
Right.
But also the fact that this article was made, the interviews are from months, but these interviews are from months ago, and it's not something that's like animation is just going to be something that I think it's going to be concurrent with live action. I think live action takes precedent.
I would just prefer it to be spaced out well, So it's
yeah, I kind of like the break in between.
Well, I have bad news for you. I think She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk and Andor are going to overlap.
Since Boba.
Yeah,
we're not going to have a break like this for a while. I don't think. But we knew that. We knew that when Kenobi tipped off, it was sort of like.
I think when Book of Boba Fett tipped off, I mean, I feel like we've been getting. Waiting a couple months in between a Boba Fett show and a Kenobi show is not the same as like back in the day waiting 3 years between episodes 1 and 2.
Obviously, we're spoiled, but
yeah,
it feels like a lot.
Oh my god, dude! Kenobi's coming out next week.
It is.
Sorry.
It's exciting. 2 episodes too.
I think we've been talking about this for so long. Talking about this even before we all met. Well, Levi.
We're talking to Levi about it before we even knew who he was.
Insane.
It's true.
I know, literally though. Like, right?
It's been a long time coming, this show. I mean, I remember when he was at the Solo.
Look how we've evolved, huh?
I remember when he was at the Solo premiere, and people were like, "Oh, it's coming! The announcement's coming!"
It's coming.
And then people were like, "Oh, it's still just rumors." And now here we are. The show's out.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
What a journey, huh?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
We're close though.
I know, we're almost there, dude. Trust me.
A meteor could strike.
Yeah, the other thing I do want to round out the show with, because that's what we started with. Dime saying Levi Solo 2 will never happen, crying.
Yeah,
that really pissed me off. Like I was saying at the beginning, this article was really bittersweet because there's a lot of sweet stuff, a lot of stuff I love, then a lot of things that I was like, man, Kathleen Kennedy, stop talking about Fortnite, stop talking about Solo. Like I don't want. No.
She talks about Fortnite.
But it's because she was asked about it.
The name you chose was Kathleen today. Now, is this a good Kathleen or is this a bad Kathleen choice?
Well, I think Kathleen overall. I think Kathleen has been a positive. But I do think, especially if I could have a sit down like Daisy Ridley, have a coffee with Kathy, I'd be like, Kathy, Solo did not fail because of Alden, and I think that's an insane take to have.
Yeah, so she said that.
Wait, I mean,
yes.
I can read you the.
Get the exact. It's much more nuanced than that, but it's like.
I think it's the same message, but.
Here, allow me to. Can I read the quote again, or?
Yes.
You can read it. Do it at 2 times speed, though.
All right, let me.
Can we do it at 2 times speed?
Yeah, here. Let me prepare myself.
Okay.
So the question is, because she's basically. Let me give you some context before I go 2 times speed. The question before is, I'll just read the whole thing. You've mentioned a couple times, this is a question, that Star Wars is one unified story. That's immense pressure. If Warner Brothers makes a Batman film that doesn't work, they can reboot it and do different Batman films. But I don't think you can really say, oh, this Obi-Wan series we made doesn't count. And she says, this is Kathy talking now, we also can't do something with Luke Skywalker that isn't Mark Hamill. We're not going to suddenly go try to do that. The beauty of Obi-Wan Kenobi is that Ewan desperately wants to do this. He's been so engaged in the entire process, and our excitement and reason for doing this is the real Obi-Wan is telling the story. We got excited by the idea that Ewan McGregor wanted to come back and Hayden Christensen wanted to come back too. Just as fans, everyone inside the company was like, let's see if we can make this work. Deborah Chow has done a beautiful job with it. Again, it's a singular vision. She's directed all 6 episodes. It has a consistent feel and style. Then he says, I don't want to put you in an awkward spot, but was this an understanding you've come to that was developed from Solo? I don't want to trash Alden Ehrenreich. I think he did a good job. But the idea that you can't really replace Luke Skywalker, was that something you learned from that movie? Or how would you put it? Then she says, maybe. As you say it, Anthony, maybe. I think back, and Solo was one of the first ideas that came up when the company was sold. One of the first people I went to was Larry Kasdan. Larry and I have known each other forever. He was so excited to tell the story, we genuinely believed at the time it was a good idea. So yeah, there should be moments along the way where you learn things. That may have certainly been a learning moment. Some people have talked about how, well, maybe Solo should have been a TV show. But even doing Solo as a TV show without Harrison Ford as Han Solo, it's the same thinking. Maybe I should have recognized this before. We would never make Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. Having just finished the 5th movie, I can tell you there wasn't a day I wasn't on set where I was like, yes, this is Indiana Jones. Maybe I'm closer to the DNA of Indy, and I always have been, than I was when it came to Star Wars. Because now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that. You get excited by these things. You want to revisit these things you want. You want to have that feeling again. You're trying to resurrect it. I think that's what we do even with our new characters. With Star Wars, everyone talks about a feeling they have. That's the intangible idea you're looking for. So it sounds like she's like, oh, we could never do, like, she even references the fact that people are like, oh, Solo, like, do a Solo TV show, like that seems like a perfect format on Disney Plus. Bring them back, bring the cast back. It seems perfect. And she's like, oh, we could never do that now.
No.
It's like
that is not the problem with that movie.
That movie was released 3 months after the most controversial Star Wars movie ever, except for maybe Phantom Menace.
Had the worst promotion of all time.
The worst promotion of all time.
No, Denny's is good. Denny's was good.
Why
Good,
didn't they just
decision.
wait until December to release it?
Because of Mary Poppins. That was the logic. They didn't want to interfere with Mary Poppins. And that movie was actually bad and bombed.
I don't. It's not that I don't like him. I just like. He nailed the performance, but visually, just him. It's just.
See, I'm so against you. I love everything. I love everything. I love everything about
it. I understand the take with present, like if I wouldn't have 100% been on board if it was just Alden in, like, say, Book of Boba Fett. But like for a movie that takes 20 whatever years before your OT, I think Alden, like, that's like perfect. Like, yeah, recast.
No, it's just the transition from him to Harrison is a little weird for me. Just visually, like the face. It's literally just the face. I think he did a good job.
You sounded like Kathy, little Andor boy. You sounded like Kathy there.
Obviously, but it was like so long in between.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but I don't think you got like Solo was a mistake, which I don't agree with. I don't know.
It's also weird that was like the first thing they thought.
And for her to be scared to do something after it, I think is gonna be essence.
Was Solo really one of the first projects like that came to mind when they bought Star Wars? Like,
yeah,
I was always on like, whoa, this is a weird movie to make.
I don't know. It seems like they need like a Han Solo origin. Like, we don't really know.
No, I think it makes sense. If you're Kathleen Kennedy, if you're Kathleen Kennedy and you're legendary producer, you just took over Lucasfilm. She talks about it in the thing. Like, she references the fact that she is more close to indie than she is with Star Wars. She worked on those indie movies. Like, she made Indiana Jones happen. And Larry Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, wrote the indie movies. So she knows Larry. So that when you take over Lucasfilm, George is leaving, he's out the door, Disney's taking over. Of course you're going to go Lawrence Kasdan, and the first thing he says is, I want to make a Han Solo movie. You're not going to say no. Like, if this guy, and I always go back to this, he made Han Solo who he is. He knows Harrison Ford. He made Indy who he is. He knows that kind of character. So if that guy, your longtime friend and collaborator, is like, I want to make a movie about that character, of course that's like, yeah, boom. That's why she says, I think she would go to a longtime friend. And that's why I love Solo so much, because for me, I think it is perfect. I think Lawrence Kasdan understands Star Wars as well as George Lucas, especially the Solo part of it. I mean, he's right there making Empire, Return of the Jedi. He knows like the core of those characters, and Solo just does it for me. That hits different. I think Solo hits different because it's Lawrence. Yeah. And I don't know. Like,
Solo would have been a good TV show, though.
Yeah, exactly. For her to say like, oh, we couldn't do it without Harrison. Like, Harrison Ford thinks Alden is a great Han Solo.
Yeah,
those videos of Harrison being like, "You nailed it, kid. I love it."
Right.
That's one of the few times you see Harrison in public being unironically positive about Star Wars.
How would they like? Well, they couldn't get Harrison Ford.
Yeah. So I guess their mentality is just, okay, don't do it.
So it's either deepfake or Alden, and I would take Alden any day.
Alden, I know.
Take Alden any day.
Especially because he's proven himself, like, on the material. And the part that makes me even more mad is you're just wasting time. Alden right now is 32 years old. Harrison Ford in the first film was 35. You have this window of time where you got an actor to play Han Solo, and you don't want to make Han Solo content. If you don't like, literally, I can't understand why these suits at Disney, because it's Disney, because it was Iger's decision. He writes about in his book how he fucked over Solo and he regrets it. Like, I don't know how these other people lower down the chain can't wrap their heads around the fact that it was a mistake and it wasn't the movie's fault. It was this horrible marketing plan. Right. And I said this earlier, Gibbs. All of the sequels all made $1 billion in large part because they had 9-month marketing plans. Solo had like 2.5 to 3 months to market, and it was a bad marketing campaign at that.
Awful.
Like the release date
Denny's.
Like awful. Like,
it was bad release dates.
Denny's.
Get it out of Denny's, man.
I don't think it was.
And then was worse is that we had to wait like a year and a half. Like,
I am fully serious. I don't think it's a boycott thing. I really don't. I really don't think those people have that much power. They have some. I would give like $100 million to them.
People just
but there are
people
so many people.
Maybe not as intense as a boycott.
People maybe not a boycott, but it's like I can't do Star Wars right now.
No, there are fans who I know who just didn't know it happened. Like in that year, they're like, "Oh, there was a Han Solo movie," and they saw it on Netflix and they liked it. That's why Solo has had this resurgence because it went to Netflix and people were like, "Oh, there's a movie." Like they didn't know because it wasn't marketed.
Annoying that they like
so
messed
stupid.
It up, and then now they're like, "Yeah, we couldn't do that because it wasn't
well received." So we're just never gonna.
No,
do it again.
and they're yeah. I think Kathleen's what she's blaming the failure on is pretty stupid.
Not Star Wars fans.
No.
We're gonna be eating at Denny's before going out to Star Wars Celebration every morning.
No.
There's one like a block away from our hotel.
Is it really? Let's, dude.
Yep,
Dude,
we're
let's
gonna
go.
go to Denny's every morning.
Levi loves his.
You got the solo pancakes.
I do.
Yeah, you guys got the solo pancakes.
I'll go to the I'll go home diner at 5 a.m. or whatever. I love breakfast.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
no
like
slander. Me and Johnny have argued about this a lot.
I argue about Johnny a lot.
I've all argued with you guys effectively about it. It's not that I think he did a bad job. It's just the face, man.
I mean, there's no point to be made. It's
they have different faces.
Sorry. I know, and that's what just bothers me.
Johnny's right.
Johnny's right. Johnny's objectively correct. We lose. It's over.
That's the only thing that bothers me. The transition from
I mean, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there that just can't get sold.
I don't know. Even with Donald Glover, it's not just Alden. Like the Donald Glover.
Oh, Donald Glover is even better.
Yeah, Donald Glover's like perfect. Donald Glover is like I can't even distinguish the two in my head. Yeah.
No.
The only thing with Donald Glover is it's like you see him and it's like that's Donald Glover.
The Lando show. She has this quote about let's not recast. We don't want to do a TV show, and then they're making a Lando show.
Yeah. I don't know. But I guess because Billy D's also involved, likely.
Yeah, I know, but Donald Glover's probably going to be carrying that show.
Yeah.
I think we'll see Alden in that show.
I hope so too. I hope she's just BSing, so they don't because I want them back so bad. That would be like
a big mistake.
I think so too.
I think it's a big mistake.
I've always thought that based off what we see in Empire, I don't think that's the last time that Han and Lando meet.
I hope so. Yeah.
There needs to be more.
Yeah, I think they set it up so it could technically fit into the context of Empire, but I don't think it's the last time they met either.
It's just like it's so weird how they set up this whole like Kira Crimson Dawn story. I know we've seen some of it in the comics, but
yeah, but it's just like it's not been satisfied. Like that is the type of ending that's like, oh, you're gonna get more, and it's Darth Maul, and it's Kira, and like
that Darth Maul tease.
Yeah,
is, like, I guess
so. That Darth Maul thing means absolutely nothing without a continuation. It's like just the weirdest thing to put in your movie.
It doesn't mean
ideas for it too.
It doesn't mean nothing because it contextualizes the character, especially as someone who reads all the comics, all the novels. Even within the live action material, if you at least watch Clone Wars, an animated show, it's a show. It's above reading. The character goes through the Clone Wars. He gets revived. He becomes a crime lord, and then eventually ends up losing everything again. And he's just become singularly focused on Kenobi. Like there's a story there in your mind about this guy who built himself up as a crime lord in the underworld. Like the only. Like his plan, this is what's talked about in the comics now, and this was a plan in the Clone Wars. Like he wanted to take out Sidious and rebalance the galaxy. Like he was like, y'all are messed up. The Sith are ruining everything. Like I'm gonna take him out. That was Kira's plan. That's what she's doing in the comics right now. It's like she wants to kill Palpatine. That's the problem. She's not thinking... like. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. What were you thinking?
Nope, lost it.
All right. Okay. Well, the point is that they are picking up on those threads, but they're still being very careful to leave a story of there's room there. There's ambiguity of what happened to Maul between Solo and Malachor and Rebels.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
And that's still a story that can be told, and I want them to tell it in live action.
Well, these were long time ago rumors, but if we'll get some news on Jedi Survivor, and there were rumors a while back that Maul would have a role, Maul being in Crimson Dawn at this point, have a role in that game.
I think it'd be such a cool
that'd be crazy
game if you have to like fight a bunch of Crimson Dawn guys and
be pretty freaking cool.
They are really. I know most of our audience and you guys don't read the comics, but they are really building out Crimson Dawn is one of the major factions during the era of the Empire, and they are so
We thought they were going to be in Boba Fett.
cool. We did, and they're not, and it makes me sad. But I think it's because they don't want to. I think Crimson Dawn is not long for this world. When you try to take out Palpatine, I think Palpatine's gonna hit back hard, and I don't know if Kira is making it to the Boba time. We don't know yet officially, but when you come at Palpatine, Palpatine's gonna come back. Like this man's a Sith.
Ain't nothing you can do.
He'll transfer himself into a clone body.
Palpatine. That's how it goes. Kira kills Palpatine,
and that's where the world between worlds.
Star Wars is over.
Begins.
A young Palpatine show. Even though I know we'll probably get it at some point over the next 10 to 15 years, it'll probably happen.
That'd be crazy. Then we can get some Plagueis.
Young Palpatine,
So
like him, like on Naboo, like gaining his way into this.
Potentially.
Yeah.
That'd be cool,
Yeah.
so-
Yes. Of course.
I can think of a lot of good casts for like a young Palpatine too.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Andor has the potential to be the best thing ever.
Johnny Evans looks nothing like Obi-Wan
Ewan.
in episode.
Johnny
You-
Ewan
oh.
looks nothing like Obi-Wan.
Johnny Ewan looks
Tom
like
Hiddleston.
Really?
Yeah,
I
that's the big
disagree.
fan cast.
I think Ewan is like the perfect cast for an
I
Alec
think
Guinness,
he's very
like,
good.
prequel.
What? No, I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking
No,
about Dom.
no. There was a comment we had.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like that.
You know what I
uh,
think is a weirdly better casting that has gotten better with time? I think Hayden Christensen really looks like Sebastian Shaw sometimes. Like Vader, like the original Vader actor, like in his eyes, like I see like
Oh yeah.
like when he takes
Sebastian's
off his
got a
helmet and
round
stuff,
face.
I know, but like Hayden older, like I see like the powerful eyebrows that they added, like that they took away obviously
Right.
in the special editions, but like the way I don't know, I see it. I see it more. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I guess
Right,
like,
alright.
he's just like so scarred at the point he gets to
Yeah.
like return where it's
Fair
just not like recognizable.
I don't know, man, but that quote really pissed me off. So I was kind of in a bad mood because I was like, why? I was like, why are you saying that?
I know,
I
but
see that.
no. Trust
Lame.
me. But just consume this for a second. Hold on.
Hey, but guys,
consume that
Kathleen
for a
Kennedy
second. You'll be okay.
Oh man, look at
You
that.
okay
Look at that,
now?
man. Look
You-
at those
you
shins.
better?
Ugh.
Vader
shins.
shits. Vader
Vader
shits.
shit. Are you better now?
Here, can you bring up the Mon Mothma one? I'll be better then.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that Diego Luna looks just
Yeah,
like
look-
Paul McCartney in these photos.
Yeah.
Like, especially
A
the, like,
little
cover
bit.
Photo.
A
Love
little
the
bit,
cover
yeah.
photo. Like you cannot tell me that is.
But can you-
not
can you-
a young Paul
Yeah. Oh
McCartney.
my gosh, that
Yeah,
was a lot.
that's
It's
funny.
ridiculous.
What'd you say?
Can you seriously bring up the other one again though? The one you were just on, the Mon Mothma, the other one. So even in this image, one, Pedro Pascal's
She's
looking
in
like
front
a
of
badass.
Andor.
He's
But-
looking like a fat ass.
No, I'm a badass.
Oh,
just the way he's
man.
Badass.
but-
Jesus.
Jesus.
But the
Lord.
way that Andor's got his hand on his gun, the way he's looking, his eyes, the way Mon Mothma's looking off the other way, like
Fucking-
the story, I can see the story in the way these two characters are standing, and that just makes me so exciting. It
He
makes
looks
me so excited.
homeless. He doesn't look like he has.
Well,
He's
his
like,
world
what
like
is
gets
that
blown
girl?
up.
Yeah. So you're saying that's Anakin's hilt? Are you sure about that?
Viv O'Reilly
I've heard
is,
that, yeah.
Benjamin Button.
No, I was actually
No,
looking at the
no,
video
no,
a second ago. I'm trying to tell. Let me actually look quickly.
Yeah. We've been circling.
But
a lot.
either way-
We have-
I'm ready to.
I mean, it's all right. We're gonna circle. I'm just so excited to talk about it. Oh, Ben, the big thing
Woohoo!
that we didn't talk about when you were here was the fact that the new show Grammar Rodeo with the kids on like the space field trip is going to be set in the post Return of the Jedi time now, and not the High Republic.
Not the High
which
Republic.
Which is weird to me. I don't like it, quite frankly.
Apparently,
was another
Jude Law
negative for me.
is going to be in the show as like a master.
Or the lead, like the adult
Oh,
character.
Kids
yeah.
are so annoying. I hate him.
Hello.
Especially the 10 to 11-year-olds
I
that
don't want
they're
nothing to
looking
do
for.
with it.
Yeah. You want nothing to do with that? You said.
I want nothing to do with it.
That do be Anakin's hilt. I'm looking at the video right now.
It is, isn't it? Like,
That's
With
Anakin's
Vaders, they
hilt!
are pretty similar. At least the like bottom.
Woo!
That's
Man,
pretty
oh
sweet.
man, Kenobi's next week. Kenobi's next week, guys. You didn't know already.
You want me to
I'm
read
really
the-
hopeful we get to see it at Celebration and not in a hotel room.
hey, do you want me to read the Grammar Rodeo thing real quick? Because that's news.
You read
Maybe
it,
we
right?
haven't-
You?
You've already
I
read
haven't
it.
read it.
Okay,
I
go
haven't.
for it.
I haven't. Actually,
You
I
haven't?
haven't, Johnny. So I don't know. Yeah, this would be new. There's some little tidbits in there. So another series on the horizon doesn't even have a title, just a code name, Grammar Rodeo, a reference to an episode of The Simpsons in which Bart and his schoolmates steal a car and run away for a week, using a phony educational event as an alibi. The show takes place during the post-Return of the Jedi reconstruction that follows the fall of the Empire, the same as The Mandalorian, but its plot remains a secret. It's created and executive produced by director John Watts and writer Chris Ford, who made Spider-Man Homecoming for Marvel. A casting notice has been called for 4 children around 11 to 12 years old, and an adult actor, the Jude Law. Inside Lucasfilm, the show is being described as a galactic version of a classic Amblin coming-of-age adventure film from the 80s, which meets that Stranger Things in Space vibe.
None of that interesting.
That's
Especially
just a
the
will
John
see.
Watts. That interests me the
we-
least.
But it's written by the Spider-Man
No,
Homecoming
I
writer.
don't know if I like John Watts because he's just a puppet. He's a puppet. that
He's a
makes
bot.
Spider-Man movies. Like
I'm not gonna stand this John Watts slander, man. We
I
trash.
just don't know what like. He's an
No, we
amazing
drag.
episode
I'm not. I
seven,
no. I
and
think
have no idea how
We drag his name a little
yeah.
bit.
I think it's a
And
fair
here.
take to have. It's funny
Here.
to me how much this man's name just gets brought up in a negative
Brought
context
up.
on this show.
It's
like every week we're like,
improving
John Watts.
himself. So like, why is he getting a friggin' like? Why is Bryce Dallas not getting her own show? Huh?
I think she is.
She better be.
Why she might get a movie actually. So okay, here's something we didn't talk
Give her
about.
both.
Here's something we didn't talk about.
She's the best. Best Star Wars.
And this is actually I know we're going on and on, but this is actually relatively new. And Dylan and Ben, we definitely are talking about this with you. So Kathleen talks about. Let me have to find a good quote. So basically, it's in the context of she's talking about Jon Favreau, and she says she's explaining how she got really lucky with Jon because he has literally devoted his entire life, creative life, to this one thing, Star Wars, over the past like 5 years. It's all he's been doing. And she's like, that's been a godsend for us. Like he's able to just make the show. And so she's saying that for the film side, and all this stuff matters, right, everyone? Because she is talking to the chat, like she is the president of Lucasfilm. Like her name, this does carry weight. Like people like to trash on Kathy, but these interviews and quotes, they do have some meaning for the future of the entertainment. So she's like, okay, I want to try, and she's been working to try to do that with the films. So she says, and I'm trying to find the quote, that she's in talks right now. This is how Ryan came up. She's in talks right now with a couple of directors to lock them in for like 5+ years to do long form stories. And I think Bryce might be one of those people.
One of them.
Because Bryce she's on Ahsoka now. She's directing Ahsoka and Mando season 3. And so I feel like for her to level up, it would be to lock her in, to be like, here you go, Bryce. Here's your 5-year tenure. Here's your contract. Make your Star Wars story.
She's leveling up.
And how do we feel about like a shift of that? Like where they want to do these.
Good.
Want to get these brain
I'm
talent.
here
Yeah,
for it.
that's cool. I
If
like
Bolds,
Jon Favreau doing other movies,
talent.
other things besides Star Wars.
Yeah,
I
although
don't
it
need
sounds
to
like
combine
he's
Star Wars.
committed.
I like Jon Favreau. I like his movies.
yeah.
So,
So Thora.
but it's still
Favorite
it's an interesting
here?
idea.
Here, can I read some more
You
quotes?
gotta keep making chef shit.
Could.
Can I read some more quotes just for you guys? Because Kathleen Kennedy interview was really, really interesting to me, and I want to break it down. So he brings up, I got to bring it back to that sequel hate you threw at me, Ben. I'm just playing with you, but I know you actually. But so the interviewer, sort of out of left field, because this is like literally right after the Solo question, it talks about Rey. He says, initially with The Force Awakens, JJ created a mystery around Rey's origin. That's been something fans have been debating for years now. She says, oh yeah. Then he says, I heard that Obi-Wan was a possible source of Rey, that she could have been a descendant of his. I've heard this idea was carried for a while, but was put aside partly because Ryan had a different approach, but also because Lucasfilm didn't want to tie up Obi-Wan for a different story down the line. Is that about right? And she has a response to me. I want to preface why I'm reading this. That's actually, I gained more respect for her after this response. So she says, instead of like doing something about, oh, well, you're working of this and this is what she says. The bigger issue is talking about Obi-Wan as a Jedi and the issue of attachment and selflessness. In order for Obi-Wan to have a child, you are really impacting the rules of the Jedi. What does that mean? If we were explored that, and certainly there was a lot of ideas being thrown around, but anything to do with Obi-Wan in that regard was pretty much off the table because it flies in the face of everything George created in the mythology. We're not rigid about it. It's certainly open for discussion, but that's a pretty significant tenet in the mythology of the Jedi that we were reluctant to mess with. So I'm like, okay, Kathy, all right.
I feel as a tad hypocritical. But,
I'm like, all right, Kathy. Well, still, I was like, I respect that answer. Like, I was like, all right.
If Obi-Wan had a
then why
kid,
not
I'd be
apply
pissed.
Why not apply that philosophy to all of the sequels?
I think in her mind they did, but
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting about the debate around Rey's parentage, that because that's Daisy Ridley was like, oh, they talked about the Kenobi thing, and Kathy saying no, like if we made her a Kenobi, if Kenobi had kids, we would have just like
I agree.
annihilated
That
something
would've
that
sucked.
George
That
made.
would have.
And I think I'm like, okay, good for you, Kathy, for vetoing that. But on the grounds of this is something that George made with the Jedi and like her understanding of the way that Jedi operate, and that they can't do that. Like, I like the reason. I know I appreciated that answer. I thought that was interesting.
I do too. Give me a Rey show or a Rey movie or Finn show.
And I want to give you some more quotes about the Acolyte. So he asked her about the Acolyte, and she says, that one sits right on the edge of the High Republic era. It's a bit of an experiment for us because it isn't building within the timeline and era that John and Dave are in. It isn't necessarily going to be what the features are. We're moving into a new era with Leslie Headland. There are certainly reflections of things that people are going to recognize, and will have some connectivity in Star Wars, but this will be a whole new storytelling, a form of storytelling, if we determine, like we do with The Mandalorian, if it works and there's an interest. So she's sort of saying, and she also says the last line is, I think there will be. So she's saying that maybe if Acolyte is popular, it could be its own Mando-esque era, spin-offs. How do you feel about that? High Republic, late High Republic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because then we're moving backward. Like where Mando, we're moving forward in the timeline. This one, Acolyte's
really
like at the end, and then we're gonna probably move the other way.
And like young Palpatine, I know I've said that. So if we're like kind of teetering around that era, then I'm fine with it. I'll take as much like Star Wars like outside of the Skywalker saga as we can get.
Yeah,
because it's unique and.
Well, High Republic's also so new for like pretty much me, Ben, and Johnny because we haven't read the books or the comics or anything, so it's gonna be fun because I know it's good. I've heard it's good, at least from you. But
and Kurt. Don't just
Kurt. No disrespect to Kurt.
We've had this legendary conversation about the High Republic.
Oh, it was so
over dinner. I heard you read the High Republic.
6 words exchanged.
Yes. Well, he hadn't read it. He read like you overhyped it. Like he had read like half of the book, so I couldn't spoil it for him. Anyway, so and speaking of your conversation, next question was, how important is it to get outside the gravity of the Skywalker saga, moving beyond the characters we know? How vital is it to open up these new realms? And she says, I think it is vital. Just staying within the construct of George's storytelling, to keep chipping away at that, I think it would be wrong. It's our job to step away now, but still have a connection to the mythology that George created. That won't stop. But we are moving on from this. But we are moving on from the Skywalker saga. That's what's taking a lot of time, discussion, and thoughts right now. And then he says, and I want to champion this as the one fan of publishing here who reads all this stuff, because people always take that stupid quote she had about not having source material out of context. He says, is publishing the test kitchen for some of these new eras? And she says, it is. That's something we put in motion about 5 years ago because we don't just have the benefit of pulling a book off the shelf. And then he says, adapting it. And she just says, as we look at where Star Wars is going, we don't just assume it's only going to be on television and movie theaters. That's another evolution of the conversation we're going to have. And I'm just going to keep going because this is where the Fortnite thing comes in. And then he says, where else could it be? Virtual reality? And she says, it could. I think it's beyond just VR. Think of some of the things that Epic Games is doing with Fortnite. The ability to immerse people in stories, building avatars around your character that could actually participate in some way. And I think she's accurate about that. Like Fortnite has tons of fans, and it's a story that it's weird. We talk about so much the movie experience being something that is community. You get to hear people interact. You get to hear them laugh. You hear them cheer. Well, in the future, you're going to have that opportunity to experience that feeling of interaction virtually. That may not be ideal to a lot of people, but there's no question that that's where the industry is going. So what does that mean for us as storytellers? Since we work so far ahead of what the audience interacts with, we have to be thinking about these things. Then she says it's right on the horizon. We're already having conversations about what we're going to experiment with regarding immersive technology. I know everyone kicks around the word metaverse, but in a funny way, George created Star Wars as part of a metaverse a long time ago. Then he sort of says, and then he says, he's like, why? Because Star Wars fans surround themselves with the things they love. And she says, if you can live a part of it all the time, how do we enrich that? That's what fans want. You want to enter this world, whatever it is that interests you, and feel investment of time is worthwhile. So what do you think about that? That's like the last of the quotes I wanted to pull from.
I mean,
well, I don't want VR Star Wars movies or whatever she needs.
Yeah, that part I was like,
yeah, but I feel like every industry or every like industry head has said stuff like that, where it's like, VR is really becoming the new thing, and it's like, well, it's still so far out. Metaverse is literally
That's like the
failed.
people a year ago
Metaverse
who
is
was like
failed.
NFTs,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
NFTs.
And now they've all lost all their money.
Yeah.
Really? No way.
Yeah. So I don't know. That almost seems like being the consumer that feels so disconnected. You know what I mean? Like being the one that's consuming this stuff, thinking that VR is the future of this kind of stuff feels like it feels like an old person explaining the future,
And she is old. So.
Yeah, and she is explaining the future.
I don't think we should read too much into that.
No, I don't think we should either.
She's just using some like buzzwords there.
Yeah. She's just trying to get on Twitter.
What they should do is, make more video games. Maybe make like a multiplayer video game for the like biggest franchise in the world.
Maybe like something like what's it called, like maybe they could do like a Battlefront 3 or something like that.
Maybe something like
that.
Maybe like that would be like a hugely successful.
And they could time up. They could time the DLC and expansions with like all the new content that's coming out, because they're gonna keep rushing out content. Like maybe that would be really cool.
No, we need more. We need more mediocre Battlefield games.
Updating.
I just don't like hearing future of Star Wars and Fortnite
in
the same sentence. I don't know about that one.
Well, I think I want to defend her evoking Fortnite, because she has a point.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I mean Fortnite's crushing.
I'm just messing.
Just from a business standpoint, I think that's what she was going with.
But I think she was tapping into something that's more nuanced about Fortnite. Not just, I'm a business person. Fortnite is popular. Let's do Fortnite. She says, quote, the ability to immerse people in a story, building avatars around your character that participate in it. Like that's specific. Like that's Fortnite. That's what Fortnite does. Like there's the events or whatever, and then you play through it, and that's where you have like The Rock come in, and there's like a story beat. Like the fact that she understands that concept of like people like to interact with the story. That's interesting. Like there's something there. I will preface the next question was about movies, and she says, this is where the quote comes from. She says, I hesitate to use the word trilogies anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling. Which is where I thought, a solo TV show could absolutely work in that frame of persistent storytelling. But then she's like, no solo, bad recast. It's like, if you recast, that's how you do persistent storytelling.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is hitting and missing.
I know.
She do.
It's true.
Well,
I think we've done it all. I think we've said
done it all. I've lost
over
steam,
and over again.
lie. And very exciting. I mean, I can't believe we're here. I mean, this news dump was awesome, and just seeing an update on the stuff, and obviously the photo
we're
shoot.
Just gonna learn more.
Yeah, let's just take one last look at this stuff.
So beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That's good. That's good stuff right there.
Good stuff.
So
I think we're ready to close out the stream. Thank you all.
Celebration next week, Kenobi next week. I can't freaking wait.
Yes, sir.
Next time you'll see us is when we will be in Anaheim.
We're gonna be doing some celebration stuff. Hopefully, I don't know. We gotta figure that all out, but
we'll figure it out. But yes, expect a vlog. Expect updates.
Yes, sir.
So.
All right. See ya.
See y'all then.